Yes, sir. I can hear you good now. I don't know if it was, I think it was my internet too in the hotel because it's not showing Wi-Fi. So I tried to close it and come back. But you're moving good too, Coach Lucky.
Oh,
Before
okay,
you were
perfect,
frozen. So I can
perfect.
see you moving good.
Oh, perfect. You know what? I'm actually really glad you're here because I get to answer your question. I meant to do that about a month ago when you asked about
Okay.
meditation, right?
Oh, this is great because I wanted to meditate while I was out here too and
Yes.
reset.
So, so it's not, so I want to give you this answer. It's not
Okay.
so much about the technique, it's about anything. It's about what are you doing it for,
Mm,
right?
okay.
So when you meditate, right, when you eat, you're doing it for something, whether it's for entertainment, whether it's because you're hungry, whether it's because you feel like, well, I need to because I have to do something for the rest of the day, or you go to work for a reason. Everything we do is for a reason. Whether the reason is good or bad, so to speak, it's for a reason. So I want you to think, if I were to meditate, like if I were to agree to meditate, what would I want to get out of it? What am I doing it for? Right? And
Right.
so, if you said to yourself, I'm doing it for clarity, or I'm doing it for peace, or I'm doing it for wisdom, or I'm doing it for whatever. If you go into something and you say, forget what I'm doing, but what am I doing it for? Right.
Mhm.
And I'm doing this because I want to get this. Right. So the
Right.
A, right, is what you're doing. The B is what you're doing it for. And the C is what you want to get out of it. Sometimes the A and B will confuse you. So like when we're trying to get something, we think like, okay, I'm trying to get this. So I'm going to do this to get it. Well, sometimes the thing we do to get it doesn't actually lead us there. We
Mhm.
don't know it. So like some people say, I want to be rich. So they say, okay, I'm going to be a doctor. So now they're rich and they're a doctor, but they hate being a doctor, even though they're rich.
Mhm.
So the thing they used to get what they wanted actually isn't as beneficial as they thought it would be.
Gotcha.
So my point to you is that the A is meditating, let's say. The B
Okay.
is what you want to get out of it, right? Is the like the
Mhm.
B is the well, the A is the meditating. The B is kind of like what you want to get out of it. Like it's it's no, how can I well, I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, what are you doing? And what do you want? What do you want? What are you doing it for so that you can get something out of it? Whatever you want to get out of it, write that down. Maybe it could be like three things, four things, whatever. That
Mhm.
essentially, that essentially is your prayer, meaning that is your focus, meaning that is what you are now going to assume that you get every time you meditate. Your assumption going into meditation, now your assumption using this tool, meditation is only a tool. Your assumption using this tool, your assumption using the tool of your key in your car is for it to start. Your key is just a tool, right? Your car, you, and the key, right? So meditation,
Mhm.
meditation, and the outcome. So if you focus on the outcome and you use meditation as the tool to reach the outcome, what do you want your outcome to be? As a result of meditating, I want to be this. I want to do this. I want to have this. Like this is what I want to get from doing it. When if you can isolate what you want to get from doing it and make that your focus, then that is essentially your prayer. That is now what you are assuming you're going to get out of this experience. And what you assume to be true ends up being so.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense to you?
And I'm
So,
taking it down.
right, everyone will sit there and worry about the technique. The technique is not important. That's not really
It's what
important.
you want to get out of
It's
it.
what you want to
Okay.
get out of it. What are you doing it for? Right? What are you
Mhm.
doing it for? If you can find out what you're doing it for, and then make that assumption that every time I do this thing, I get whatever my intention is. Right? So if your intention for you is I want clarity, or I want wisdom, I want insight, I want enlightenment, I want my intuition to expand, or I want good ideas, or I want better health, or I want so every time I use this tool, this is what I'm going to get out of it. When I go into it, this is what it is, and when I come out of it, I have these things. I'm more of these things. This is what I got from doing this thing.
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense, and it definitely aligns a lot better. Now I know exactly how to do it.
Yes, there you go.
I got it. I
Yes.
appreciate that, Coach Lucky, and it came in the right time. It wasn't ready for me a month ago. It's ready now.
There it is, right?
There we go.
But you know why you got it? Because you're here at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
See, everybody wants to come at 7 o'clock and think they're gonna get something, but everybody can't get something at the same time. It's like Black Friday. You open the doors at Target, boy, and it's a stampede. You better have hydrated, stretch. You better know how to box. You better be a
Right.
gymnast, right?
Those J.C. Penney door busters back
That's
in the day.
it.
Busting the doors down.
That's
Let's
it.
get it.
And no one's safe. Old people, young people, you better pick that baby up, right?
All the
Everybody
way.
can catch this fade over this 50-inch screen, over this big screen I'm about to be, right?
I appreciate you, Coach Lucky. Thank you very much.
We have been there at 2 a.m. He has no shame.
Man, I'll put a helmet on, some shoulder pads. I'll be in there looking like Patrick Mahomes in there. Man, everybody can catch it. But it's 50-inch big screen. But
I cannot. Thank you, Coach Lucky. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Hi, moms.
Please don't.
You know, I have to watch myself around because, you know, I have to get my coffee, get my water bottle.
Look, mom's right here.
Good Lord.
I got to be prepared before I get on.
Listen.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, good morning to everyone. Everyone here.
Leslie's still connecting.
Okay.
Yes.
But this is why we're here for this is why we open it at 6:30, so that we can have extra conversation, ask questions, get more insight, better insight, share stories, ask for information, help or support, reach out to each other. There's so many of us on here now that do so many different things, and you can put your number in the chat, or whatever you feel comfortable, your number in your chat, your links in the chat. This is the time to do that. So being here early, you get the benefit of being here early. Everybody wants to get to the same place at the same time and wants some extra. Like, boy, people do as little as they can for as much as they can, and you end up getting nothing for something, and giving up something for nothing.
Well, if nobody else has another question, I'll have another one. Coach Lucky.
Sure.
I guess it'll be one for you and one for Vero. That's okay.
Sure.
So for me, I've been really trying to iron out my concept or my focus point, because I think I was kind of a little all over the place, a little too general. And I'm really been enjoying the mindset stuff. It's really been helping. It also has been helping my brother too. I don't want to say too much because sometimes he hears me when I'm on the calls with you in case I catch a gem that I can't catch. I think last time you were trying to catch me at the end of the call and I ran to the bathroom. He was like, "Sissy, they're calling you." But he's been struggling with a lot of his own mental health struggles. Sure. And learning more about mindset with you and going a little bit more in depth, I've been able to try to highlight certain things. Like you really broke down mindset being your thoughts, your behaviors, and your beliefs. Mm-hmm. And when he says he has a certain thought, I just say, hold on to that thought. Even if your belief and your actions aren't lining up with it right now, or your feelings aren't lining up with it, just hold on to the thought, because I'm grateful that you're having a positive thought. Mm-hmm. So for me, I've been seeing in my family life, a lot of self-sabotage. And like we were talking about earlier, mindset stops you from doing anything that you want to do or can do. It paralyzes you until you can overcome it. So I really don't know, but I feel like when I first started this journey and I wanted to have a business and I wanted to provide value with people, it was because I was diagnosed with endometriosis, adenomyosis, and PCOS. So it's more like a hormonal menstrual situation. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to be the endometriosis girl, so to speak, and just teach everybody about endometriosis. I wanted to more so be about, this is what I was diagnosed with. This is how I'm changing my life. Mm-hmm. And I'd also know not to come, which I'm helping in these calls, trying not to become the expert in the field and just learn and grow with everyone and just show them what I'm doing to let them know that it's possible. It's potentially possible for them as well. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how to package it, if that makes sense. I don't know exactly how I should go about doing it right now. I've just been creating content, whether it's like the other day I did a chat and chew where I made my salad and I ate it and I told them what it was like and I gave them the products that were gluten-free, soy-free, being mindful. So mindful eating has been a strong theme in what I've been putting out, but I don't want it to always be about food. I want it to be about mindfulness, being mindful of you as well as mindset. So I don't know, am I supposed to like pick a specific area of that and just focus on it, or just be me and just have a purpose for why I'm putting something out? And I think somebody told me on a morning meetup, treat it like a lesson plan, because I am a teacher. Treat it like a lesson plan to thoroughly think it through. So then that way I can have those types of conversations and value to put out there. Am I overthinking it? Am I getting clearer? Am I getting more down the right path? Or do I need to take more time to self-explore?
Do you want me to take it? Can you hear me well?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Definitely always stay true to yourself. It doesn't sound necessarily like you're all over the place because it's still under that umbrella of your purpose.
Okay.
When you started talking, I got ideas in my mind like, ooh, you could write an ebook about the eating part, or like certain things about it, different ebooks. Get the word out, because a lot of women probably are not talking about it, but are going through it.
Okay.
So to be a voice for a community that can support each other, that's huge.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
Yes.
like you can create some sort of group, and maybe like on Facebook, and just kind of maybe even have like ChatGPT help you come up with some titles.
Okay. So on that, Vero, because you're on it, and I did chat GPT last night on some stuff.
Yeah.
But when you said community, I tried to create a community, Vero and Coach Lucky, at the beginning of the year. I wanted it to be like a wellness all year type thing. And I had it mapped out, 20 days of discipline challenges, different focal point, every month. And people weren't really engaging. They weren't really buying into it. A part of it was a book club. And I think I just kind of fell off after a while because they weren't engaging. They weren't showing up. They weren't responding to what I was putting out and what I was doing. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a little too premature for a community just quite yet. Maybe I need to build a stronger foundation in order for this community thing to work. And now as I'm like in other communities, I see, how other how other people run their communities, how they create a sense of engagement. And I love it. So it's allowing me to be more inspired of what can happen if I reinvent it, or relaunch, I guess, the community, so to speak.
Excuse me, I would say maybe just even focus on telling your story.
Okay.
So
Write
like
that down.
feeding them more, for lack of better words, feeding that community more clips instead of like maybe the information or whatever. Do it all more like in video, like share more of your stories, share more of like your tips, and just give that value.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's what will drive people to be more engaging. And then
Okay.
start probably implementing the challenges and the more, the more
So run back the real plan next year at the beginning, when I've already built up a little bit more of who I am and providing value. So then that way, when I relaunch what I wanted to do initially, which was possibly a little too premature, it'll be more effective.
I say just fill it out. If it's before the end of the year, next year, then do it then.
Okay.
Go with the flow. Be ready for it. You know what I mean?
Be ready. That's
For
the
it.
key.
Yeah.
Be
Stay
ready.
ready so you don't have to get ready. Like
Amen.
who says that? Myron Golden?
No, sugar free
Sugar free? Excuse me.
at all.
I didn't know.
All
Excuse
right.
me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Got it.
Great Pomona philosopher.
So that one was really supposed to be for Coach Lucky. My second one was going to be on e-commerce for you, Vero. I was looking at different products. I wanted to know, did you like actually build a relationship with certain manufacturers before launching, or did you just kind of get on Shopify and add and look at products that way and put them on your store?
Oh, I was all over the place. Yeah, I started
Okay,
shipping. I started in 2016 though. This has been a long journey.
I got you.
I started with drop shipping, jewelry, and accessories, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And after that, what I did was I started making creams and selling that. So I would go
Okay.
to like sites like AliExpress, or sometimes like Shopify
Okay.
has like apps that are actually drop shipping companies that connect with the stores. So it makes it really easy. So that was like some of the ways that I was getting my materials or inventory. So
Okay.
like AliExpress, Alibaba's another one. Yeah, I would get like even my glass, because I used to have glass containers for my creams. I used to
Mhm.
get like I used to get all those. I mean, I still have so much inventory until I realized like I just love building these stores more than anything. So, but you can just start with whatever. You don't have to like, you know what I mean? You can start with just a little shelf with inventory, and then grow from there. You know, you can just work your way up little by little.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it, Vera. Thank you, Coach Lucky.
You're welcome. I'll answer your question real quick.
Okay.
It's longer than this, but it's real quick.
I got you.
I was telling somebody this week that if you have a desire, you have a desire. Like if you see something, if you see a need in the market, who saw the need?
I did.
You. So that's you. That's one. If then you have the skills or the desire to meet the need, who is that?
Me.
You. So 1 + 1 equals, how could what should the 1 + 1 equal then?
My results.
You.
Me. Okay.
You. So what I mean is that when you decide to go out and do what you're doing, make it about you. Because you are trying to help people. But the point is that if you're the one that I saw the need, and you're the one that identified the need and have the ability to meet the need, then that means you have to be the one who decides what the outcome of this equation is. Because it's essentially like being pregnant, having a baby, and letting somebody walk down the hall and name it.
Mm.
They haven't been involved in the whole process, so they're not understanding what they're looking at or looking for, because they didn't ask you for anything. Nobody's asked you for anything. So you're not looking for a certain person, or you're not looking to meet a certain person's need. You're doing this because you've identified something that is personal to you, that you would like to get involved with. And so you have to decide and define what that outcome is going to be for you. So then you essentially say, okay, well, the reason they're not coming is because the reason they're not coming is because of the situation they're in. So the situation they're in is what you are desiring to help them out of. But you can't do that if you're leaving the outcome up to them, right?
Ooh.
So that means you decide, this is what it's going to be for me. This is how I'm going to tell my story. This is what my story is about. It's about me, and you're getting the benefit of what I'm making about me. They're getting the benefit. It's not for them, it's for you. They're getting the benefit of what's for you. I'm here every day, every Saturday. I'm here early, dressed, ready to go at 6:30, like when you saw me on here. That wasn't because everybody was on here. Wasn't if I'm waiting for everybody else, I'd still be waiting for most people, right? There's very few of us on here, right? So the point is, what I'm saying that to say is because I'm doing what I want to do, and I love doing what I'm doing. And because I love it so much, I'm here. And you get the benefit of what I love doing or participating in, and other people will get the same from you.
Yes, sir. I love it. Thank you, Coach Lucky.
You're welcome. All right, my pleasure. All right, here we go.
And thank you for asking that, because I feel like I gave you an answer and gave me an answer. So listen, thank you.
We're here with this. We got this thing together.
Yeah.
That's it. Hey, good morning, everyone. Yeah, Cynthia, I see you. Stretch and hydrate, because I'm coming.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm coming for you. Yeah, today. I can't wait to talk to you. Yeah, Justin, and I'm be side-eyeing you. So if she's not ready, I'll be looking at you like, yeah, I'll be looking at you today. So, man, it's good to see both of you. It's good to see everyone here. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see everyone. All right, well, we're getting started. So, here is a quote. I know it may be hard to see, but I'll read it to you. I'll read it to you. Okay, well, spotlight me, spot it up.
I'm spotting.
Spot it. Okay, well, it's all right. Here we go. So even if you can't see it, which I don't necessarily expect you to always be able to see it because it's, writing. But quote is, he was 33 years old and acknowledged as not only the finest sculptor of his age, but the greatest in history. He was 33 years old and acknowledged as not only the finest sculptor of his age, but the greatest in history. I know you don't know, but it doesn't matter. Take a guess. Who do you think is being spoken of here? I don't expect you to know, but just take a guess, right? We're just going to start warming up. It's like warming up before a game. Going to start stretching, right? He was 33 years old and acknowledged as not only the finest sculptor of his age, but the greatest in history.
Michelangelo.
Oh, that was it. Who said that?
Should I say your father? Me, look.
What did you do? Just look it up? Man, stop it.
That's that 1.7 coming alive.
There it is. There it is. Dorsey Public High School. There you go. Right? So Michelangelo. He was, somebody get on Google and look up this word. I'll tell you in a second. So somebody get their Google out. He was a short, swarthy man with a broken nose, big peasant hands, and and locks full of black hair. He was a short, swarthy man. This is Michelangelo. He was a short, swarthy man with a broken nose, big peasant hands, and locks full of black hair. Somebody go on Google. Yes.
Oh, Sparkle Bailey asked Jesus.
Right? So, right, we've already established this is Michelangelo. Somebody, so who's on Google? Somebody get on Google and look up the word swarthy. When you get it, tell me what it is.
It's black.
Black. Dark skin. Black.
Dark skinned.
Black. Dark skin. Not light. Not light skin. Not light skinned. Not beige, pale. No. Dark. Black. That's what swarthy means. Dark. Brunette. That's what brunette means. They were originally talking about the skin color, not the hair. It eventually went to the hair, but they're taught when they say he or she, especially they were talking about women especially, but both. And brunette meant skin color. Tawny. I want you to understand what words mean so that you can understand really people know who people are. History knows who people are, even if you don't. Right? This is talking about Michelangelo. He was the greatest sculptor of his time and of his age and in history. That was a direct quote. In history. He did a lot of work for Pope Julius II, who they called the warrior pope. He actually was fighting and was the pope. Same time. He was multitasking for real. Right? That was and Pope Julius was the warrior pope, and he would, back in the times, popes and kings and things like that would commission artists to make statues of themselves, right? Or, paint or whatever. When Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, that was under Pope Julius's direction. He said, do this. He said, I'm not a painter, I'm a sculptor. He was like, man, do it anyway. So that's how he ended up painting the Sistine Chapel. He used to sleep by his work. He didn't care about money. He used to sleep by his work, or he would sleep in the bed with 2 or 3 other peasants that were like his assistants with his work. But he was known as the greatest sculptor of his age and in history at 33 years old. And he was a short, swarthy man. A lot of these people that they're talking about in history look like a lot of us on this call. Now, I could go into a whole bunch of history and not going to really go into all that. But the point is that it's important for you to know words. It's important for you to do research. It's important about anything that you're interested in, involved in, or living on, so that you have an understanding of what's really going on. And if you rely on people just to tell you, if you rely on school to tell you, the news to tell you, the papers to tell you, the internet to tell you, all the other stuff, if you don't know who you're listening to or what you're looking for or what you're looking at, you won't necessarily know if you're getting the truth, right? So these are just stretching warm-up exercises we do at the beginning, right? So that people can start thinking and start realizing, well, what else did I not know about that? Or how come I didn't know that? Or what else did I not know? Or what did I think this was before I was presented the actual facts, the actual truth of something? Did I realize that that's Michelangelo? Did I realize that he was described as swarthy? Just like so many other people were described as swarthy? Abraham Lincoln, Queen Charlotte, Charlotte, North Carolina. For those of you who live in North Carolina, in Charlotte, that's named after the Black princess who basically got booted out of England for, having a little too much color. That's what Charlotte is named after. Her, right? That's why the Queen City, right? So I want you to know that. That's number one. Number one exercise, warm-up exercise of the day. Number two, who knows? And before you get on your internet, don't be getting on the internet acting like you know. I want some guesses. Galvarino. Who is that? Has anybody ever heard of that? Who is this person? Has anyone ever heard of this person? I don't expect you to.
No, Sparkle Bailey said no.
That's great. I don't expect you to, right? But this is hiding in plain sight. Hiding in plain sight. This person, once I tell you who this person is, afterward, then you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that's what. So here it is. This person was a Mapuche chieftain and warrior. Mapuche, the people were in South Central Chile and Southwestern Argentina, the Mapuche people, the indigenous people of that area. They were indigenous people of that area. When the Spaniards came down to conquer Chile and part of and Argentina and things like that, when they were trying to conquer that area, they ran into these people. He was a warrior chieftain. He was a chief of one of the tribes there, and he was a warrior. So when they came to conquer that land, they ran up against people like him. 80% of Chileans are of this descent. Of them are what you would call the descendants of Mapuche people. 80%. So when the Spaniards came down to conquer this land and these people, they ran into Mapuche people and some others, but largely Mapuche people. Galvarino was the chieftain, was one of the chiefs of the tribes and a warrior. So when they got into conflict, he was scrapping over his land, essentially, right? When he ended up getting captured in one of the first wars, he ended up getting captured, him and about 150 other people. As a result of getting captured, all of the warriors, they cut off their right hand and their nose. But any chiefs that they caught off both wrists. They cut off both hands at the wrist. So essentially you are now handless. They cut off both hands at the wrist. And they would send you back to your tribe, let you wander back as a sign of, if you don't, give up, right, or acquiesce, this was going to happen to you and everyone like you. He decided, yeah, I'm not going for that. Now they really done made me mad. So what they did was essentially they found a way to solder his hands, right? And they stuck blades in each hand. In each hand, where his hand was, they stuck blades. now that you are there, now that you're hearing it, go online and look it up. You can just go on something, not even a primary source. You can go on Google. It's not a primary source, but go on there anyway, right? Just for your own edification. Whether you do it now or later, doesn't matter. But Galvarino. And they stuck knives in his hands. And he went back and fought. He gave a huge oration, a big soliloquy to his people. Like, if you don't fight what they did to me, they're going to do to you. This person, you know, as Wolverine. This is the X-Men Wolverine. This is where Stan Lee got this character. Actual history. This is the real life Wolverine. Saying that to say again, there's a lot of things that are right in front of your face, and without knowing history or without knowing etymology, without knowing what you're actually looking at, listening to, the stories being told, you will think it's something different. You'll think it's something else or nothing at all, or has no reference, or they just made it up, right? And it's actually, these are actually real people that these characters are based on. These are real places, real people, real characters that these things are based on, right? So I like to give, I was going to go into Wakanda, but I'm not going to do that. I'll let you guys figure that out on your own. That's a real thing. Ain't in Africa, though. Not a real thing. Stan Lee and them made that one up too. But yeah, I'll let you guys do a little research and figure that out for yourself, right? But these are just two things for you to stretch your mind out. Think about when you're going throughout the week, when you're going throughout the rest of the day. What are you watching? What are you hearing? What are you listening to? And do you really know about it what you should know about it? Do you know if you're listening to something real, not real, true, not true, what part, how much, whatever else it is, right? These are just things to start making you think, like, well, what did I know? Well, what do I know about that? Did I think that? That's what this is, right? Exercises to make you start thinking. All right. Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to get to the homework yet. I'm going to wait a couple people out. Oh, I'm going to wait a couple people out. Because, you know, people try to sneak in late and sit in the back and hope the teacher don't see them, but I see everybody. Because like you, Giovanni, I taught in the classroom. I was an athletic director for years at a K-12 private school. So I know all about the children, all about the kids.
He knows all the tricks.
All the tricks. So here we go. All right. Has anybody ever heard, just by show of hands, you can put it like, you know, on your screen, you can hit the button. Has anybody ever heard like, you are the collection, something like this? You are the collection of the 5 closest people to you, or the people you hang out with the most. Has anybody ever heard that? Like, you know, you can just put your hand up in the you know, on the screen just to let me know that you heard about it. Like, yeah, you're the collection of the 5 closest people that you hang out with, that you talk to the most, that you know, some form of that, right?
Hey, Coach Lucky, that's what changed my life, man. That simple principle.
Yes, sir. And I'm about to change it again. So please don't interrupt me. Thank you. Before I was so rudely interrupted by Justin. I was playing with you, brother. Yes, sir. No, and that's true, right? There's wisdom in the multitude of counsel. So you better make sure your counsel's right. So that's absolutely right, Justin. You're right, brother. Yes, sir. Okay, cool. So if let's get so we're the collection of 5 closest people, right? People we're talking to the most, 5 closest people. All right. So let's get a couple volunteers. All right, Justin, who do you since you want to talk, who do you talk to the most?
I got a lot of new associates.
Justin, can we get a name? We ain't got time for this.
Alicia.
Okay. All right. Who else is up? Who do you talk to? Who else is up? Who do you talk to the most? Get 3 or 4 people.
Joe.
Who else? Somebody else. Who do you talk to?
Alf.
Who?
Alf. AWS.
AWS. No, I need different people. I don't want to talk to just Justin. Good word. That was all I thought. I thought the voice sounded strange and familiar. Man, who else is on it? I'm somebody else. I
David.
want
David.
David. Okay. 2 more people. Give me 1 person each. 2 more people.
My
Chad.
wife.
Wife. Okay. And 1 more.
Chad.
Mona Lisa.
Oh man, I'm sorry for that. Man, hey man, we all going through it. I understand. I can say that because that's my mom. So you know, I can talk bad about her. In front of everybody, that's her. I can talk bad about her. Okay. So these are who we talk to the most. Everybody take a look at this. So, right, we have all the names. What name is missing?
Our own names.
So all of you wonderful volunteers got a fat F. You all failed. I just walked you into it. I just walked you into a setup.
To be fair, you did say you said name 5 people that you commune with. And so yes, we do. I speak to myself on a regular basis, but I literally thought you were looking for people outside of us because I talk to myself more than I talk to anybody else.
That's correct. So, and what did I say to Justin? He said, I taught my circle and I changed my life. I said, I'm about to change it again. Because this is what I meant when I said, and so I understand what you mean, but I walked you into it on purpose. I was deceitful on purpose. And y'all done it. Don't act like you ain't done it. You guys deceive people on purpose. Don't act like you ain't done it. Right? No, I wanted to see what you guys are going to say. I just wanted to see what you guys are going to say. Everybody, and the reason we said it is because I actually have to say it a certain way for you to consider yourself. If I just say it generally, what does that mean? It means generally we're always going to name someone else. Generally, we think as people, if we don't specify ourselves, that ourself is not included. But we can't include, there's no dead people talking to somebody else. There's nobody in the cemetery out there like, hey man, what you doing today? I don't know, man, what you do? There's nobody out there doing that. So that means all the people talking that can talk in here, so to speak, are living. So that means the people who are living, then the first people they talk to primarily is everyone. When I mention that, everyone mentions someone else. And what I'm saying is that that's not even factually possible or even true. We talk to ourselves all day, every day. We argue with ourselves. We have full-on conversations with ourselves. We argue with other people full-on in our own mind, don't we? Like, yeah, wait till I see him. I'm about to tell him this. I'm about to tell him that. Oh, no, she didn't. Oh, wait till I get up there and get up to that school. And I heard she was up there talking, right? Or my mom, better not let somebody else tell me something before that you tell me. I mean, people they get all off into their whole mind before they even talk to you, right? Because we're always talking to ourselves, always. We are always talking to ourselves. Now, show you another way. You know how you're talking to somebody, or you know how you're in the car with somebody and they say something, and you're like, wait, what'd you say? I didn't hear you. And they're not talking to you, right? And you say, well, what'd you say? I didn't hear you. They're not talking to you. What do they say? When you say, what'd you say? But they're not talking to you. What do they say?
I was just talking to myself.
Right? There you go. I am talking to myself. I am talking to myself. I want you to think about really what you're saying when you say that. I am talking to myself. Right? If you can't see the board or you can't really remember it and picture it in your mind, write it down. I want you to see it so it's clear to you. I am talking to myself. I want you to see it so you can actually break down what you're actually saying when you say it. We say it so quickly and so consistently, so constantly all the time, we don't even really realize what we're saying. I am talking to myself. So, volunteer. Who wants to break this sentence down and tell me what this is actually saying? What are you actually saying? Now, remember where we are. We're here, right? We're at the place where we learn how to think. So we ain't out here, nothing wrong with being wrong, but we ain't out here just saying what we've always been saying. I want you to think about what you say. And I want you to think about what this is saying. And I want you to start thinking about what you're actually saying when you say this. I am talking to myself. I am talking to myself. What is that really saying?
I love myself enough to think out loud and process whatever it is that I'm working through out loud. And I don't care what's going on around me. I love myself enough to figure this out no matter what the circumstance is. That's what I'm telling myself.
Okay. Okay.
Can I tap in, Coach Lucky?
Huh?
Can I tap in? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Depends on who
All
it
right.
is.
It's Ray.
Hey, what's up? I know.
Hey.
Hey, Ray, what's going on? Yes.
Also, hey, Sparkle Bailey. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like, okay, when you break it down and you visually you're looking at it and looking at the etymology of everything, you're saying, I'm talking to God, right? Because first of all, you got the I am, which encompasses all things, right?
Yeah.
And if I am, and you're talking about myself being the I am, you're talking to God. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Ray. That's perfect. You right on track. Who else? Tell your boy I said hey too.
I have a thought.
Yes.
When I am talking to myself, is my subconscious, which is the connection to God, is telling my conscious what it needs to know.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That is your subconscious and your conscious. That's correct. That is correct as well. Yes, that is correct as well. So let's break this down. Anytime we're talking about I am, right? That's what people historically have called God. But we understand that's now consciousness. We're saying I am. That is just consciousness, right? Now, if I am is, so I am is talking, right? Is talking to myself. Okay, who is the myself? Who is the myself that is talking to?
Your own self?
Who is that?
Your higher self?
No, who is that?
The lower self?
And who is that?
The body, I guess, not the spirit.
Yeah, and who is that? And who is that?
That's me, right?
Yes, who is that? Who is that?
That's Sparkle Bailey.
There you go.
I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out.
There you go. There you go.
We was right there with you, girl. Like, okay, well, who is that?
Yes. That's why we do this. Who is that? So it's essentially saying God is talking to Sparkle Bailey or to Ray or to everyone on this call. It's saying God is talking to whoever the persona is. It's talking to myself. It's talking to its possession. Sparkle Bailey, Ray, John, Jeremy, Mona, Justin, Cynthia, whoever else it is being spoken to by I am. I am is talking to itself, to the persona it has. Like when you say my self is the same as saying my arm. It is a possession of yours. Your persona is the possession of your consciousness of I am. I am is talking to its persona, to its physical representative. Your arm is your physical representative. Your hair is a physical representation of your consciousness. That's why it starts growing, stops growing. That's why your body starts puberty, stops puberty. That's why you grow a certain height. It's a reflection of your consciousness. And since we're all unique and different, that's why we all look different, act different, talk different, because it's an expression. Our body is nothing but the expression of our consciousness. Our consciousness. Our body has a name, in this case, the volunteer, Sparkle Bailey. I am is who you are forever, but it is who you are before you got a body and named it Sparkle Bailey. So when you are saying, I am talking to myself, you are essentially saying that consciousness, the thing you are, will only ever be, that you always have been, that you will always be, is talking to its physical representative, Sparkle Bailey. The self is talking to itself, the thing that it owns, the thing that it controls, the thing that it's putting all the information into. That's what's happening. That's why you're doing it all the time. You're always talking to yourself. It's always a back and forth conversation. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, you can. No, I can't. Yes, you can. No, you can't. You can do everything. Man, not today. Not with this high blood pressure. Not today. Right? You can tell your kids, you can do it. And they're like, Mom, no, I can't today. Right? Your higher self is always talking to your lower self. Your spirit mind is always talking to your carnal mind, to your human mind. Your human mind always feels limited. Your higher self is unlimited. So it's always trying to convince you that there's more, that there's bigger, there's better, there's higher. And your human mind's like, where? How? With what? Don't you see there's racism out here? Don't you see there's sexism? Don't you see that? Well, the Black Lives Matter people aren't here yet, so I got to wait before I go into this store. Right? Where our human mind is always saying, I can't, and our higher mind is always saying, yes, you can. What you mean? We've been doing. What are you talking about? Why not now? Why not? Right? Your consciousness is always talking to your physical self. Your invisible self is always talking to the physical self. There's always a dialogue going on between the two. Right? You are not Sparkle Bailey. Your body is named Sparkle Bailey. You are I am. That's who all of us are. But I am is always talking to its physical representative. Ray, Veronica, Lucky, Marcus, Mona, Leslie, John, Jeremy, whomever else it is. It's always talking to its representative. So just like when you're in elementary school, when you're in elementary school and you're like, oh, the authority of the class is the teacher. If you want to go out and do something and say you want to go to the bathroom, I don't know if they still do it, but a lot of times they'll give you a hall pass, especially in middle school, so you're not just wandering around, right? But they give you a hall pass. It means you are doing something on the authority of someone that isn't there right then, that no one else can see. But if you hand them this thing, you're saying, I have this authority to be able to do these set of actions or go to this place. And you have the hall pass because the teacher's not with you, visibly. But you're able to act on that teacher's authority because you've been given this pass. Right? So you're always acting on your consciousness in your physical body, always acting on that. Right? On the dialogue that's going on between the higher and the lower, the invisible and the visible, the non-physical and the physical. But it's one. It's one. It's one thing going on all the time. Right? It's like an elevator going up and down and up and down. It's always going. So there's a dialogue between you. That's why you're always talking to yourself. You're always talking to yourself. You talk to yourself 1,000 more times than you talk to anyone else. Where they say you have anywhere between 70 and 80,000 thoughts a day. You know how much talking that is? Think about that. And you think you talk to these people the most? You think your husband and your wife get on your nerves? You get on your nerves more than anybody else could possibly. With it 70, 80,000. Can you imagine talking to somebody 70 to 80,000 times and them not making you mad once? It wouldn't be possible. So if you talk to yourself 70, 80,000 times every day, you know how many times you done made yourself mad? You know how many times you done gave yourself a piece of your mind? You know how many times you done gave it and then they gave it back to you? Hey, thank you, but no thank you. No thank you. No thank you. You guys can pass it back and forth for like a hot potato, like a hot plate so many times. Right? You are talking to you the most. The dialogue that you are having between your higher self and the self that you call by name, that is one experience happening. It's one experience happening. There's a non-physical experience and a physical experience. You are talking to yourself. So if the 5 people around you, as the great Justin Talbot said, can change your life by the more time you spend with them and the better quality those people are. Well, what do you think you can do if you talk to the person the most and you change that? What if you change that experience? What if you rework and remold that experience and remodel that relationship? What if you upgrade that? You know what you'll get? If it changed Justin, and we all say it, everybody said it. That's why I said that, right? Like the 5 people around you the most, they have an effect on your life. Everyone will say that. And if they can change your life enough to come on here and shout hallelujah, amen over it, well, just imagine if you can change that, if you can remold and remodel that to your liking, to your success, to your benefit. Just imagine the effect it will have on you. So then if that's the case, I want you now to start thinking about what conversations have you been having? What is this dialogue between your higher self and you, the body, the name, the person that you think you are? And that's cool. We all think we're that because it's the only way that this works. It's the only way this works is by thinking we are this person. That is my name. This is who I am. That's the only way this physical experience can actually feel real to the I am, to the consciousness that we are, is by actually thinking we have a name and this is us, by the persona, the person, the persona, the Latin word mask or character. The only way this works is by actually thinking that's real. The only way a good actor is because you forgot their acting. They're so good, they're one with it. So then if you can be one, which you are, but if you can consciously be one with your physical self by saying, I am now this, I am now that, I am now this. If you can choose that and be one with that experience, how much can your life change? If 5 people you have 90% less, 95% less conversation with over your lifetime can change your life, what can change? How much can your life change if you change the conversation that you have 100% of the time with yourself? How much can your life change? How much more, different, better, whatever it is you want to be? How much more do you have to work with? Right. I want you to understand when you say I'm talking to myself, I want you to understand really what you're saying. I want you to become aware of who's talking to who and what you're talking about. And do you get along? Do you like each other? Is this the person you're consciously, purposely trying to spend good time with? Because everybody starts mentioning everyone else. Everyone's looking for this person and this group and this, that, and this, that. And you're not talking to the person who's with you everywhere. That's the person you know the least, talk to the least, spend the least amount of time with, but complain to. That's the person you're getting the least from, and it's with you the most. Right? So I want us to become more conscious, more cognizant, more aware in the moment of what's actually happening, who we're actually talking to, so we can start changing what we actually talk about. If the people around you matter and who they are and what they are and their successes and their vocabulary and their stories and what they talk about and all those different things, if all that matters, how does this matter? How does this not matter much more? How is this not much greater? It is. Because you're talking to your true you. You're talking to the you that you always are, have always been, and will always be, but now you've just hidden it in human form and called it a name. But it's the only way that you can actually think this earth is fun. So the I am, this is nothing but a scrimmage. This is not real. That's why there's a whole, you can die and just, it doesn't think about it that way. We do, because that's the only way we will preserve ourselves. The humanity does, but the consciousness doesn't, because it knows it can't die. This is just a scrimmage. This is a body, pick it up and put it down. The way you built it, you can build another one. Right, but the way we will preserve and get the most out of this physical experience that we came here to have is by thinking this is real. So we want to preserve our life. We want to preserve our health. We want to preserve things and try to make them last forever, as long as we can, because that's the only way that this matters to us. But don't ever think that you are the body you're in or the name that you call that body. That's not who you are. That's what you're in, and the name you called what you're in. Like you're in Atlanta and you are in a city. That's just where you are in the city you're in. That's not what you are. Right? Your body is just a place you're in, and you have a name for it. Don't ever think it's you, because it will limit you. It will make you think that you are stuck as you are in the body. That's not. That's just where you are. Right? And once you understand that, then you realize, oh, okay. So if I am talking, I am If consciousness is talking to this body I call, then what is it saying? What am I saying to it? What conversations are we having? I want us to be more mindful and aware of that, so we can make them now in our best benefit, to our highest and best good. So we can start talking like the I am, start talking like the being that has the power to do any and everything. Because that's who you are. That's who you are. It's not who your body is. That's not what you're looking at in the mirror and saying that's no. What you're looking at in the mirror is only propped up by the I am, by the consciousness. As soon as that consciousness leaves that body gonna fall on the ground, boys, like a rock off a roof. It'll just sit there on the ground like a car out in front of your house. Because even though it is able to move, it needs a living thing to move it. And that's your I am, that's your consciousness. So whatever you're aware of being is how everything is moving through this physical thing, through your physical apparatus, right? So I want everyone to understand that. I want you to really look at that sentence, write it down. I want you to really realize what you're saying to yourself. I want you to be aware of who you are. I want you to be aware that you are. I want you to be aware that you're amazing, that you're wonderful, and that you built this whole earth that you're playing in. You built this so that you could have somewhere to play physically. And then when you build it, you're like, yeah, I think I'm gonna go on and try that. I think I'm gonna go on. What roller coaster developer didn't ride their own ride? What car manufacturer didn't drive their own car? You want to experience the thing that you worked on, that you created, right? I want all of us to understand that. I'm saying the same thing over and over and over every week in different ways. There's so many different types of people. There's so many people doing so many different things on this call and things like that. So I give a little bit so hopefully everyone, well, I know, so everyone will take something with it, but we still have to come back to a central theme. You are not your body, and you're not the name of it. You're not that. That's what you're in, and that's what you named it. You are the I am. You are eternal consciousness. So you can have and be or do anything you want, and you are actually doing that already. And when you become conscious of that truth, then you can change whatever it is that you don't want, that you want more of, that you want less of, or whatever else it is. You are not the limitation of your body. Any more than you are feeling limited when you go into a roller coaster and they strap you into the seat. You are that, then you get into the seat. You still are what you are before you got in the seat, and you're still going to be what you are when you get out of the seat. But you strapped yourself in this seat so that when you got on the roller coaster, you didn't fall out. That wouldn't be anything. Wouldn't be anything, right? So, same thing. You strapped yourself in this body to get on this ride of life. You're not limited by your body in that sense. You are in it so that you can ride this ride of life. But so whatever you were before you got in that seat, before you got in this seat of your body is still who you are. Act like it. Who must that be? When in the book it said, let there be light. When that being said, let there be light, who was it talking to? Anybody? Who was it talking to? Himself. Who else was there to talk to at that point? But we just talked about this for 10 minutes now. Who are you talking to? Same person, yourself. The self of you is what people call God. That's the self of you is. Not the body of you, not the name of your body, the self of you. Just like when it said, let there be light, if you looked around, who are you talking to? When you're talking to yourself, the person driving is like, who are you talking to? It's the same thing happening over and over because that's who you really are. And if you can say, let there be light, well, you can say, let there be a whole bunch of other stuff too. Let there be health. Let there be success. Let there be prosperity. Let there be long life. Let there be happiness. Let there be joy. Let there be peace. You can say the same thing. There's no one around you now to say anything different any more than there was when it said, let there be light. When you said that, there's no one else to stop you from that.
It'd be yes.
It'd be whatever you want. But I'm trying to get you to be conscious of it because it is already whatever you want. But a lot of things are just not done consciously. Let there be poverty. Let there be sick. Let there be high blood pressure. Let there be OCD. Let there be a whole bunch of other things. Right? That's what we're trying to be conscious of. right? So that we can change it by knowing who we are. Knowing who we are. I'm getting ready to switch gears, but I was talking to somebody 2 weeks ago on this call, and I said, talking about praying over your food. And I said, and I want to be very clear about two things. Number one, pray over your food because you're grateful for it. Just like your kids, you talk to your kids because you're grateful, but you also talk to your kids with a level of authority and say, I'm grateful for you, take the trash out. I'm grateful for the food that I have and the people that I'm eating it with. Food, I want you to come in, make me look better, feel better, look younger, feel younger, live longer, in perfect health. I'm talking to my food with a level of authority because I know who I am. I'm not praying for my food for it to be something different. I'm not praying to something different so it can make it different. No, I'm praying to it. I am talking to it from the level of authority because I know who I am. So I'm saying, this is what I want you to do for me. I'm eating you so you can do this. Do exactly what I said. Hey, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for my kids, but I also have authority, right? So, hey, I'm grateful that you're doing this, or I'm grateful that this is happening. That's well and good. Now, I'm also exercising authority for this experience to happen. So the people who started praying over their food were not praying to God. They were talking as God. They were aware of who they were, and they're aware of their power to talk to food, to talk to their body, to talk to everything, because they created it all. You created it all. I want you to start talking from a position of authority over your food, a position of authority over your body, a position of authority. You have to know who you are so you can use your authority. Once you know who you are, you can use your authority. You can be grateful for what's grateful to be grateful for. Oh, I lost my job, but I'm grateful. Why? For what? Why would you be grateful? Why? You don't have to, you can just say, no, I didn't like that. I'm going to change it or whatever else it is. But like, we think we have to express gratitude for everything because everything is gratitude and everything is like, hey. In the beginning, it said there was darkness. And then that being said, let there be light. Didn't say, well, I'm grateful for the darkness. They just said, okay, cool. That's what it is. Let there be this then. I want that now. Like, we think like we're some kind of special beings, or like we're super this because we're grateful for everything. Oh, my leg is all swollen. Oh, I'm just grateful. Like, well, no, I'm not. I want to change this situation. I'm grateful to be here, but not like this, right? I want you to talk to your body, talk to your food, talk to your business, talk to your money, talk to your health, talk to things from a position of authority. You are the owner of your body. It's like you're the owner of a business. Your health insurance card is the same thing as your business license. The name of your business is the same thing as the name on your social security card. It's the same thing. And if you wouldn't stand for that in your business, why would you stand for that in your body? If you wouldn't stand for somebody come messing your business up and kicking the shelves over and things like that, why would you stand for high blood pressure coming in and kicking your body? Why would you not stand for one and stand for the other? Why is one, no, you got to get out of here in my store, but in my body, I'll never put on me more than I can bear. What the hell? What does that got? What? What are we talking about here? You would never say that. Well, God will never let this dude kick this shelf down, more than I can put it back up. That doesn't even make any sense. We just rationalize all kind of nonsense. You have the same authority over your body that you do your business. You have the same authority over your food that you do your children. You have the same, because you are the parent figure. You are the higher level of thinking. The people who first started praying over their food knew that who they were. They weren't talking to someone else to do something for them. They knew who they were. So they started talking to their food and started saying, let there be. I want you to act like this with me.
Akia put in the chat, clarity plus command equals creation.
That's it. Because if you are the I am, then your whole world was created by who? Was there somebody else to do it? Did I am have somebody else to pray to? Hey, you know what? I really like this thing called a world, and I really like some people on it, some little water. Can I get a waterfall? And can I get a little, who else was it talking to? It was the only thing to talk to, right? So when it said, let there be, do you know what that was? When it said, let there be, do you know what that was?
That's the command. That's the command.
So then what happens before a command?
A decision.
Kind of, yeah, they're kind of one and the same, kind of, right? But yes. And then, okay, what happens before the decision?
Akia put clarity.
Yeah. about, but clear, what is clear?
The thought.
The thought. The thought. When you are eating, you have a thought about what you're eating. Why do you think you call it junk food? You have a thought about what you're eating. And then when it produces the effects of what you think is junk, then you will say, oh, well, I knew it. But that was your concept of it. What can everybody in the world eat? I mean, what can everyone in the world eat? Nothing. Somebody's gonna be allergic to something. There's people who say they're allergic to water. So then if there's nothing in the world that everyone can eat, then that means everyone's experience is individual. Everyone's experience is individualized. So then what makes an individualized experience? What is that? And the people say it?
Kia said your choice.
Yes, essentially. Your belief system. When I see this, I think it means this to me. So when it comes to my body, the food is going to act just like that. I'm just telling you what people are not going to tell you. Because they'll tell you got allergies and you got this or that. No, you have a concept of this food, that the concept of that reacts in your body that you, in a way that you call an allergy. How you got that concept? Maybe somebody else told you. You got that concept because maybe you think somebody else this, or you got that concept because when your parents were giving you that food when you were young and you had no consciousness enough to actually defend that thought, they're like, oh, well, I just have to give them these chips because, you know, they're hungry right now. But their concept of it is junk food. And then when it comes out and affects your body like junk food would, their concept of it, that's what's happening. There's nothing everyone on this planet can eat that everyone's going to like, that everyone's going to enjoy, that everyone's going to have a good reaction to. Because everyone is different, but they're not different in body, they're different in mind. And the difference in mind is what affects the body. I'm telling you that you have control over your food, your body, your health, and everything else, because there is no one else to have control but you. You're looking around waiting for this to happen, and this to happen, and for that person to happen, and for this, it's you. You have control over your body. You have control over your business. You have control over your health. You have control over your money. But if you don't know it, it's not a lack of power, it's a lack of awareness. Awareness is when we say we're here to learn how to think so that we can live well. We're here to become aware, to turn the lights on in our mind so that we can see what we have, see who we are, so we can actually start acting like it. How can you expect somebody to take advantage of a whole room in the dark?
Velvet Love said we have to save ourselves.
You're the only one to do it. It don't make you no superhero. It's an obligation. It's an opportunity if you do it well, if you do it thinking properly, but you're the only one to do it. There ain't nobody else coming. It's you. You're looking for you. Aren't you talking to yourself? You already here. What you talking about? When you said let there be, like you said, it was a decision. So there had to be a thought before you decide. Right? So you're always thinking and deciding, always thinking and deciding, always. What are you thinking? And then deciding. Look at your life. You'll be able to tell. Everything you see is what you thought and decided. Whether, like I said, everything in your house is what you allowed in there. Whether you brought it in or you allowed somebody else to bring it in. It's your house. It's your house. This is your house. And this is the parent. So whatever you think is what's going to be in your house. However you think is what's going to be in your house. This is your first house. And then your second house is the world that you use to live in. This is the first one. That's the second. You're the owner operator. You have to understand that. Once you do, things change. Just like Justin said, you get 5 different people around you, your life changed. You get one different mind, your life changes. Like that. Your life will change because it's only going according to what you're thinking now, what you're feeling and believing to be true now. That's all it is. Right? That's all it is. Now, get on this real quick and then I'm coming back. All right. Now, who did the homework? isn't that funny? Every time I ask that, every week it gets so it's quiet. But then, is there a different thing? Is there a different level of quiet? Is it like quiet and then quieter and then quieter? Is there like different levels? Because it's quiet. Who did
I think
that?
it's
Huh?
I think it's like a guilt quiet, and then
That's
there's
what
like
it
a
is.
I wasn't here, and then there's me. I wasn't here last week. So then
Okay,
there's that
okay,
quiet. It's that quiet.
okay. There you go. See, that's it. Somebody's thinking. See, somebody's thinking. That's it. So some of you were here last week, because I can see it. I can see, and I'm trying not to call you out in front of the class.
I guess that she missed last week too.
Yeah, I know who was. Just like Giovanni, I was a teacher. I know who was here. I know who was here. I know who wasn't. So who here last week did the homework that I'm looking at on this screen? Boy, ooh, it is quiet up in here.
So I'll go.
Okay.
I wrote down like my thoughts, like the sitting down and writing your thoughts. And I did learn that I've gotten more control of my habitual thoughts compared to before. So before I used to be more like, oh, I always suck at this, or things are always, like just if it's not one thing, it's another type of habitual thinking. And I feel good about it because it was more like affirmations almost. So that was my experience with the writing, the thoughts. I'm still thinking of the song. I can't figure it out, but we'll see next week.
That's a D. Next, that's the grade is a D. Next person, who else is up? Hey, and everybody, don't be putting stuff in the chat so you don't have to answer verbally either. Don't act, no, because I'm watching that too. That is not acceptable. Don't try to talk to me after class like, hey, let me tell you what had happened. Like, no.
I wasn't here last week, but the week before when you gave the assignment about writing your thoughts after a 20-minute meditation.
Yes.
I did do that, and I've done it a couple of times actually.
Okay, what have you found?
I have found that a good portion of my thoughts are really quite scary. They are ruminations of things I was fed as a child to think about. And I didn't realize that I consistently still had those thoughts. So even though I'm trying to change my mindset on just my general life, I'm definitely trying to change it on money specifically. And I feel like that history that was fed to me is fighting to not die as I'm actively trying to change it.
And that's wonderful, because like we talked about, what does that create in you? What does that give you the opportunity to become?
I feel like it's giving me the opportunity to truly become the director of my path forward and what I think about, and I have to be hyper conscious when those thoughts are coming so that I can immediately, change that thought, immediately tell myself another story, because that story is a lie.
So when you say tell myself, who is that? Who is telling yourself?
That is telling myself. Yes, that is telling
so that
the
means
whole of me.
When you say tell yourself another story, it means you want to become conscious of telling your name another story. No, it's not that. It's this.
Yes.
No, it's not that. It's this. No, it's not that. It's this. No, it's not that. It's this. Yeah, I understand how you feel that way. Yeah, man, I remember when we talked about that. Yeah, it's been a while, huh? Yeah, but we're not on that anymore.
Yes.
It's this. When you say you're the director, right? That means you're directing something. A play, a movie, your life.
My life.
And then who are you talking to? Who does director direct?
Leslie.
Exactly. Who is the actress? Who
Correct.
is the person? Who is the persona? Who is the character?
Yes. And who is moving, in a way, in my mind, is moving away from being a character actor and being the lead of the life I'm building.
That's it. Because what we have to understand here is that we're not here to manifest. We do that. We're doing that every day, all day. We're just
Right.
manifesting disasters generally, right? So what we're here to do is manifest in the sense of consciously, purposely, to be aware and to realize that, just like you said, to be the lead actress in the play, the lead actor, the lead actress, right? The point is, it's the same thing as manifesting. We already are. We're already the lead actor or an actress of our life already.
I think that's what I discovered since you gave me that assignment, you gave us that assignment. What I discovered was that manifesting isn't something you do as a separate action. You're doing
Correct.
it anyway.
Correct.
And you're creating the terrible, ridiculous results that you're getting.
Correct.
At least I am.
All of us are. We're the only ones. We are, whether we do or we allow to be done, we are.
Yes.
We are. So everything we're doing here every Saturday is to create awareness. It's not to create some kind of big old type of skill. We already have all the skills we need. Generally, we're just misusing them because we don't understand them or we're not aware that we have them. Right? So what we're really doing here is creating awareness. That's what we're here for, so that we can consciously choose our life. So we can consciously realize, oh, if I'm the director, sure, I better pick up this camera. Or once I realize I'm something that I didn't realize before, it changes my behavior. If I thought go ahead.
I'm also realizing that the people around me aren't, I'm more aware of my desire to shrink back as the people around me don't want that growth or are uncomfortable with that growth and are uncomfortable with the statements that you have to tell yourself to grow where I'm trying to go.
And it is not, I'll just speak for myself. In my own journey, I have become less judgmental and less critical, but I've also become less tolerant.
Yes.
And what that means is for me, what that means is that I understand from my own journey, I understand how I was messed up, why I was messed up, and not in a negative way, but I understand my mistakes. I understand why I made them more, because I'm more aware. I understood not only that I thought that, but why did I think that? What made me believe that? Where did I get that from? So when other people are, let's just say, crazy or off, I remember being there. I remember in ways I may still be there. So I'm less judgmental, I'm less critical. I understand. However, because I understand, I'm also less tolerant. Hey, I love you, I get it, but you can't do that over here. That's not gonna work. Because the outcome is not debatable with life. You and I can agree to anything, but life is not playing that. Right? So you and I can say, you know what, we don't need to go to work because this is all God's earth. Okay, but when the electricity bill comes, they don't really think that. Right? So that means it don't matter what you and I have conspired to agree on some old craziness. If we can't sell that to the third party, then it's not a sale at all, right?
100%.
So less tolerant, it just means, hey, I understand what you're thinking, why you're thinking it. I don't agree, but I ain't hating on you because I was there. Or in another way, an area of life, I might be there. However, I do understand that in every area of life that I'm there or you're there, there's going to be a consequence that I don't really want no part of. So you're going to have to keep that to yourself or take that over there, or you're going to have to, no, you can't do that here. You're going to have to take the shoes off when you come in the house. You're going to have to obey some different rules. That we're going to have a situation, because otherwise I don't want to be standing right next to you when that goes down. I'm less tolerant because I'm more aware of outcomes. And I'm like, if I can't negotiate this outcome in the end, I can't sit here and try to negotiate all the things that are going to lead to it with you. Right? So awareness is why we're here. Everyone, that's why we're here, to become more aware of ourselves. The more we know ourselves, the more we know thyself, the more that self that's available can be expressed. The more that you can use to get on and get off and get in and get out and go up in life, right? For all of us in this physical experience, right? Okay, so I know last couple of weeks, I've talked about business more than I normally do, because I don't care what anybody on here does. I don't care if you work for somebody or if you're an entrepreneur. I don't care what type of business you have or what type of business you work for. I don't really care about that. I only care about preparing you to be the you need to be to get from that experience what you want, and to choose the proper experience to get what you want. So now probably is a perfect time. Oh, Cynthia. Yeah, we up. Perfect time.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm back. I don't even care about saying hi. We get to the work.
Never move away.
All right. Cynthia.
Wait, Coach Lucky, before we get into it, can I share something? Really fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or after?
Yeah, no, go ahead. I mess with you. Go ahead.
Because I didn't do the homework the last time, but this week I did sit for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Well, let me go backwards. In the beginning of the year, January, February, because you're talking about awareness, is when I started becoming more aware.
Okay.
So I went into a fast, January 1st. I just started fasting, just becoming more aware of my thoughts, more aware of how I was so reactive, more aware of the things that were coming out of my mouth or the things I was thinking all day long that like consumed me. So I went into a fast. So I already kind of did self-forgiveness for 2 months. You can ask my husband, like he would be like, "What's wrong?" And I would just be crying and crying and crying. And sometimes it would be happy, sometimes I would be like sad, but it was just awareness, and just forgiving myself for not being aware for so many years, as a parent, as an individual, as a wife, just not being aware and just keep doing the same things I was doing and not changing until what I was doing wasn't working anymore. It wasn't working for me. It wasn't effective as a mom. It wasn't working in my marriage. So I had to do like that self-forgiving. And then now, being on the Saturday calls, this week I just sat for 20 minutes and I was able to manage my thoughts a little better. And even those old negative thoughts that were trying to come back in or trying to consume, I was able to like, I know it takes practice, but I was able to like, okay, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not like, I kind of did something else or distracted myself. So I was able to manage my thoughts better. And I've never been able to do that.
Well,
So that's just something I wanted to share. And you were talking about food earlier and like what we put in our bodies. And me and Justin, 2 days ago, we cleaned out the refrigerator, we cleaned out the cabinets, everything. We got rid of all the junk that was in our refrigerator, that was in the cabinets, and we just bought clean, healthy food. We bought a juicer, we've been juicing. So we've been magnifying our health, magnifying what we're putting into our bodies.
There you go.
Just feeling better, fasting. He did like a 24-hour fast. I didn't go that long, but I did fast for a little bit. Just thinking clearer. I'm feeling better, more energy. Working out this morning, I stretched, just like magnifying my health.
Yes.
Mental health, everything. And someone else said it too, like just the way we grew up. I grew up I was taught it was selfish if it's all about me. But now that I'm older, it's selfish to not think about yourself. It's selfish to not put yourself first. So I'm just relearning, unlearning, just a whole journey, but I just wanted to share that.
Cool. Hold on 1 second. Stay right here. Hold on 1 second. I want to tell you guys something real quick. There's a difference between selfish and self-interest. Here's what I mean. Selfish, we all pretty, well, we don't even understand that. So let's say that. Selfish just means, here's my definition. Selfish just means when you're thinking of when you're only thinking about yourself in a way that does nothing for you or for anyone else. You're not better because of it, and you're not better to anyone else because of it. You're only thinking about you and what you're thinking about and things like that. It doesn't mean that every thought you have has to be a bettering thought or for someone else, but it means it's a consistent pattern of behavior where all the way you're thinking, what you're thinking, how you're thinking doesn't help you or doesn't make you a better you for anyone else. Self-interest means a way of thinking, pattern of thinking, where the way you're thinking makes you a better you and better for the people around you afterward, not before, after, as a result of the way you think. You have more, you are more, you have more to offer to other people, to be to other people, not even because you offer it, but just because people can walk by you and see you're better. You answer the phone different, you cross the street and you make sure somebody else gets across, or you may just wait for the light, but just things that you wouldn't have done different because you're more aware, you care more about yourself, you care more about yourself in a way that is reflective in your own growth and in your ability to grow other people. Give you an example. Not too long ago, I was at a park. I still a lot of times still train a lot of kids, train a lot of athletes in basketball. So there was a kid who had a Gatorade bottle, and he threw, and I was working with some people, and I saw him. He threw the Gatorade bottle in the bushes. When he threw the Gatorade bottle in the bushes, he kind of turned around and he looked around to see who was watching. So he didn't know that I saw him. So he threw the Gatorade bottle and nobody really saw him. He looked around, he saw no one saw him, or he thought no one saw him. So then he after he kind of got over himself, then he started going back to what he was doing. So I waited a couple minutes and I was just waiting to make eye contact with him. So I made eye contact with him and I waved him over. And I said, hey, I said, I saw you throw that Gatorade bottle in the bushes. And he kind of looked like, oh man, here we go. Oh, I'm in trouble. I said, I just want to tell you one thing. I said, when you do that Gatorade bottle in the bushes, what did you do after that? And he kind of sat there and he was like, well, and I said, well, what did you do? And he said, and you could tell he didn't really think about the process. And I said, you looked around. And he said, oh yeah. I said, why'd you do that? And he kind of just got quiet. And I said, I'm just going to answer it for you. I said, you looked around to see if anybody saw you, because that was going to tell you whether you were in trouble or not. But the reason you looked around is because you were uncomfortable doing what you did. I said, and because you're uncomfortable with doing what you're doing, because you were uncomfortable doing what you did, you were already wounded. I said, and because you did that and you didn't listen to yourself and you just waited out until the voice died down or till the pressure within you went down, then you kept playing, but you couldn't even move until that happened. I said, and my point is that when you did that, and when you don't listen to yourself, when you do what's wrong and you know what's wrong, I said, you are lowering your own self-esteem at that point. You are lowering your own value of yourself. You're lowering your own ability to discipline yourself, to guide yourself, to guard yourself, to protect yourself. You're cutting that off. You're turning the volume off. So after a while, you're conditioning yourself to not listen. So now you're only going to be guided, guarded, protected by something or someone else. But if there is no one else at all, or no one else better, you are now being governed by someone, either no one or someone less than you. Yet it's your life. I said, so when you start turning that voice off consistently, after a while, it stops talking. After a while, there is no volume. And so self-interest means when you do something, is this in the best interest of you? Is it in your best interest to walk like that, dress like that, talk like that? Is it in your best interest to eat that food? Is it in your best interest to do what you're doing, be where you are, talk like you're talking, walk like you're walking? Most people have cut off that voice. They turned down that volume and they broke the knob off, because in that moment, they didn't want to hear nothing. But then by the time they're ready to hear something, all they hear is the outcome of silence. And when you stop hearing your voice, you put yourself in situations that now, like a lot of us have said on this call, guess what? All you hear is the outcomes of violence, of ignorance, of deferred maintenance. Now all you have as a result is guilt, despair, grief, fear, worry, anxiety. You have nothing but the outcomes of turning off your voice. turning off your own internal mechanism that says that's enough. Whether it's that's too much food, that music is too loud. Why are you listening to that? Why are you watching that? It doesn't matter what anyone else says. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. Your body has its own mechanism. Your consciousness is always talking to you because that's who you are. But when you stop talking, when you're like, I don't want to hear that. I don't, la, 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 right? When you do everything you can not to hear it, after a while, it's like, that, you know what that is at that point? What they call in humanity, free will. Okay, my mom used to say all the time, you like it, I love it. Right? But when that report card came, it was like, she loved it and I didn't like it. She was like, oh, so you want to be Eddie Murphy up at the school. Oh, so, right? But it's too late to talk then, right? So I'm saying all that to say, what I was saying to that young person is what we all have to remember. We all have a voice. We all have something that's constantly talking to us to guide us. That is the us before we came into this body, like we talked about earlier. It's telling us, don't do that. That's not who you are yet. But if you continue, it's who you can be. Do you want to be that and the outcome of it? See, those are things we just think about throwing a Gatorade bottle in the bushes. Oh, I got rid of it now. It's off me now. I don't have to. Okay. But the shortcut leads to a long time. Shortcut leads to a long time, right? And just the ability to, if we can discipline ourselves, you don't need the police to do it. You don't need a parole officer to do it. You don't need the hospital to do it. You don't need all the external. You're going to pay more. You can listen to the whisper, or you can listen to the roar. You gonna hear the roar. Go ahead.
Sparkle Bailey put in the chat. Is this in my best interest with the eye emoji?
Like, actually think about it. Walk around this week. Okay, well, that'll be the assignment for the week. Ask yourself before you do something, not before, even just almost down to the most minute things. Is this in my best interest? For me, is this going to make me the best me I can be? The healthiest me, we all want a whole bunch of stuff. That kid probably wants to go and play video games later, but you threw that Gatorade bottle in the bushes. How can you have the best life doing something that's against your own best interests? It's telling you, you are telling you it's in your best interest. But look how early that voice can be cut off. You don't have to be an adult for it to be cut off. We start cutting it off a long time ago, and we start cutting off so early, we don't even think we had it. So now to Cynthia's point, and now to a lot of our other points that were on here, we start thinking like, oh, we're like, wait a minute, I can do this. But look what happens when we don't, and look what happens the longer we don't. Right? There was another kid I trained, girl, years ago, and she wanted to play in a game and she missed practice, and because she just thought she didn't, for whatever reason. So the game came and she didn't start. She was upset about it. She didn't play right away. She was upset about it. So I talked to her. I said, what made you think you could miss practice? Oh, well, I just didn't think it was a big deal. Okay, well then why are you mad at the coach? He doesn't think you playing is a big deal. Oh, but so what you're willing to do to yourself, you're mad if somebody else does. Right? Then I said, but this is what I want you to understand, because when I first started, what I'm doing now, I've been doing for probably about 20 years now. When one variations of forms or another. I started with athletes. I started with learning how to help people think so they can perform better. That's all we're doing here. Now it's bad. I was using it originally in basketball, but then I started using it off the court, on the court, different sports, whatever else it is. And so what I said, the one thing I wanted her to understand, right, it was that the same person who thought it was okay to not go to practice is the same person that's going to show up to this game. So while you think you'll be able to play well and this or that, you're also bringing this person who thought it was okay to do the wrong thing. Do you think that person's not going to show up in the game at some point? Do you think the person you are off the court is not going to show up in this game at some point? Do you think your lack of discipline, your lack of awareness, your lack of preparation, your lack of dedication, your lack of commitment, do you think that's not going to show up here at some point? See, we don't think about that. Just like the little boy who threw the Gatorade bottle in the bushes. He didn't think anyone saw him. So we're not even self-governing, but we want a better life. We think we can control outcomes, right? Well, you know what? I'm gonna just steal this from the store and get a good lawyer. Why don't we just not steal? I'm just gonna do this right now, but But I'll figure it out when I get there. Sometimes you get to a situation where there are no good options. There are no good ideas now. Now you hear. Sometimes the best decision is not to get into a situation. But a lot of times we're not self-governing. A lot of times we're grown, but we don't want to be, and we don't want to be told what to do, but then we want help.
Leslie put in the chat, selfish and selfless are both negative.
Right? If they're not what everybody purports them to be. That's why I start with the warmth in the morning, whether it's words or whether it's history or whatever else it is, because a lot of things we think aren't even correct. A lot of the thoughts we have are either not correct, insufficient, just outright wrong, or lies, or aren't helping, or we don't really know what they mean, or we don't really know much of anything. And we're trying to live on a little bit of anything. We're trying to live on appetizers. So you go to a restaurant and be like, I want the appetizer, and see if that works for the whole day. See if that works for dinner. Right? It's not enough to live on. It's like my high school teacher said, if you don't know 80% of this information, you don't have enough to live on. What you talking about? There's no C in life. That ain't nobody want to live a C in life. They'll get a C on a report card and be like, how come? Well, a C are not $300 earbuds. C is not a Tesla. A C is not living in a good neighborhood. A C is not, but you don't mind getting that in your report card. But we live in an A neighborhood. You want a C on your report card. I'm working for an A and you going to school for a C. What are we talking about here? You're going to school is your job. My job is my job. How come I get an A? We live like this. You get a C, and you want what? So you want the benefits of my thing while you do your thing. Well, if you do your thing, you're gonna get your outcome. So we're gonna go on Amazon and get them fear buds. We're gonna get the ones that are $9.99, and every time you put them in your ear, it looks like somebody stabbed you. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and they start just playing different music and just turn on in the middle of the night. Like you don't get to, we don't get to play this game, right? You don't get to play this game. So I want us to understand we can't play this game in life, right? We have to make sure that if we want an A life, we have to start having A thoughts, A information, A beliefs, A feelings. A belief is only a thought perpetuated. You think it long enough to believe it. 2 times 2 is 4. Kid don't know it, don't think it, don't agree with it, but they say it long enough to believe it. That's why you have them do those math sheets over and over, right? It's not complicated. That's all belief is. It's a thought perpetuated. It's just what you keep doing. We have to be more mindful of what we keep doing, right? Good. Now we're back. Cynthia. Yeah, I gave you more time.
I was like, I hope he forgets.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, we're not forgetting anything. Oh no. Yeah, no. Me and forgetting ain't friends at all. All right.
I've tried, Cynthia.
All right. So I don't know if they call it the same thing. And maybe Giovanni, if Giovanni's still here, I don't know if she can help. I don't know if they call it the same thing. In California, they call it an API school. An API school, right? I don't know if they call it that the same everywhere, right? That's essentially like that's essentially like the score of the school in your neighborhood, like how good it is, like a credit rating, right, for a school. All right, so Cynthia, I am calling you, and I say, hi Cynthia, my name is Lucky. I am looking for, and I heard you were a great realtor. And I'm getting ready to move my family into the area. I want to put my, I don't have 4 kids, but I want to put my 4 kids, in school. And I'm looking for, a great neighborhood, great place to be safe, coming from California, moving us all out there, and, I want to get set up by September 1st. I'm coming into the area to meet with you. What can you do for me?
Okay. I feel like during the week I was so confident and talking to people, and I'm like, when he asks me, I know what I'm gonna say. I'm so confident. But now when I got on the call at 10, I was like, oh God, I'm nervous. Okay, so you're coming from California, you're moving to Philadelphia. You heard I was a good real estate agent. Well, I would, okay, so let me put this in my head. So we're meeting up, say we walk into a coffee shop, we're meeting up, we're talking, and I would just ask for details. I would ask you, Well, okay. So, Mr. Lucky, I think I would have to role play this and it'll be better. Okay, so Mr. Lucky, um,
Justin, she just
oh
lost.
my goodness.
Justin, she
No,
lost
wait.
a sale.
Okay, no,
That's
no,
on
I know
you.
how to do it. Okay, I'm nervous.
What? Okay, so good, Cynthia. Hold on one second. Okay, now, mom. It's time
And
for you.
thank
No,
you
stay
for
there,
your mom's
Cynthia.
number.
Yeah, good. Did you call her?
Yes.
Okay, so mom, are you up? Cynthia, stay where you are. Everybody pay attention. Mom, are you on here? Now she don't want to talk. She want to talk every
Hold on, Luck. Hold on, Luck.
Man, tell her to hurry up because I ain't got time. Let's go.
Hey,
Yeah, you wanna
I'm
talk on the
dealing with
phone?
my money.
Now it's time to talk. Now,
Okay.
I have my mother on here for one reason. I don't care about her being my mother. If she ain't got nothing to say, she ain't talking. This goes for everybody. So ain't no cap coming on here. So listen very carefully. My mother had a child care center. She had buildings, not just a house with 58 kids in it. She actually had buildings, centers. I've been to my mom a black tie dinner where she was honored by the city. She's taught at UCLA, child care development, and all the other things. So, but I'm having her on here for a reason. I want everybody to understand who has a business. I want everybody to understand something. Cynthia, I want you to understand something because there's something you miss and I want you to get. So,
Okay.
So my mom had these child care centers. My mom did one really good thing that I've learned from her in retrospect, looking back from conversations now as well, and things like that. So, Mom, I want you to talk about one aspect. I've already said enough of your accolades. That's it. So don't get on here talking about some other stuff and keep it to the point. Now, you did one good thing that I want everybody to get a better understanding of as far as running a business. I want you to talk to them briefly about when you talked about bathing the kids and feeding the kids, when you talked about that experience, when you talked about why you did what you did for those kids as it related to the experience for the parents, like your awareness of something, of their experience. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So, you know how you always talked about how, okay, I fed the babies and I got my own diapers and I bathed them and they always went home like this and all those different things. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to talk a little bit about that and why you did it. Why did you feed them? Why did you bathe them? You didn't have to do that? Why did you do that? Why did you do that? What did you do and why did you do it? This is something Cynthia is not understanding quite yet. And I want her to understand it. But I'm going to use you as an example so you can explain what you did and why you did it in that respect.
I did it because of the entire experience I wanted to not only have for the parents, but for the baby. When those babies came to me, they didn't have to be concerned, and the parents didn't have to be concerned about if they had diapers there, food there, anything there. Their whole entire day was there with me. I only had parents bring in a blanket, something from home that a child could smell and be familiar with. But it was important to me how I had the child come. Well, I used to watch the parents when they signed in. I looked at how they signed their name. I watched them as they walked up to the door, and I could tell how things were going to go and what had possibly happened overnight or during the weekend, because their whole time with me there was to be a loving, supportive environment. I used to put my hands on those babies. I would touch them. I would make sure that I watched everything about them. I wouldn't let anybody in the infant room. They couldn't come in there with shoes on. They couldn't come in there talking loud. They had to sit on the floor. It was carpeted. But the whole experience is I wanted them to feel nurtured, loved, and that they were in a home-like environment for those kids. I'm not sure if I'm answering what you want me to.
Okay, then you said the feeding and the bathing and things like that before you went home.
Yes, always, every day. Parents would come and pick up their kids and go, I can go anywhere. My child is always so clean. They brought a change of clothes. They were bathed. Their hair was brushed. Everything was taken care of because I wanted to nurture the whole experience for the families and give parents a model of how this should go. Parenting is a challenge for a lot of people. And so I wanted to model the behavior. If you came in there, you're not talking loud, you're talking low. It was a wonderful way for me to give all of the energy inside of myself back to that environment and to those children and to those parents, because it meant everything to me. That's why I eventually came out and became a doula, or only dealt postpartumly because I had kids of my own to deal with. I started teaching Lamaze, all of that, because the whole, people don't understand how important it is. Your pregnancy, a toxic pregnancy is going to bring out a toxic child. And then when they get to you in the daycare, they're crying because, oh, they're colicky, they're not settled, they're not this. Because a lot of times parents, it's difficult for them to just settle down and just be in the environment with the baby and watch and to listen. Because remember, that's a baby's language, crying. They can't say, hey, look, chick, get up and get my bottle. Don't you see my diaper's dirty? They can't do that. So you listen to their cries and what they're looking like, how they look up at you. Please, when you are feeding your babies, don't be on your phone. Don't be watching. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't ask me that.
I did not. Thank you. So that's good enough for you. So Cynthia, what I want you to understand is, what I want you to get from that is this. When I call you and I'm asking you for a property, this goes for everybody with your business. What I asked my mom to talk about that for was because what I saw she was able to do was incorporate into her business as a lifestyle things that made things that provided answers, support, protection, everything that a parent would need and would need to feel when they drop their kids off and when they pick their kids up. They could pick them up and they were fed. They could pick them up and they were bathed. They could come in and they could see the kids being able to play on the floor. How did that make the parent feel to know their kid was at an environment? How did it make the parent feel to know when their kids were picked up a certain way? What I want, and they were clothed already, they were bathed already, they were fed already, so they could take them to the store if they needed to eat. They had to worry about them still having to take them home and bathe them and do this and do that. Cynthia, what I'm trying to get across to you is that, and this is something I've seen, and I want to go too deep into it, but I want you to understand something. I don't know, all I have is money when I'm talking to you. I don't know anything about Philadelphia. I don't know anything about colic, like these parents didn't necessarily know. They just got it. I don't know anything about Philadelphia. I'm coming to you. And so, but what I want you to understand is that you don't have to be a rocket scientist or fancy. All you have to do is think about, what would a person need coming when they come to me? What could I give them as a part of my business? You looking for a house? Okay, you have this many kids. Okay, are you looking for public school or private school? Are you like, what you're a parent, what ideas do you have that you can say, okay, if I were in this situation, this is how I'd feel. If you can make the people come to you feel like you're taking care of them. Hey, Cynthia, I see this house is big, but what's the API score? If you don't know, now in LA, there's a place called, Baldwin Hills. They call it the Black Beverly Hills. There's no such thing, but it's a couple of Black people around.
Hey, Lucky, can I step in for a moment?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe it's Cynthia. Cynthia, I'm also a licensed.
Yes.
I've been working in real estate for a very long time with Coldwell Banker. I want you to step back and think about why you're doing real estate. You need to start about thinking about you. How do you feel about doing your real estate? Why are you doing it? Where are you doing it? Because not only do I deal with residential income and commercial, but that may not be your field. You need to think about, should I be doing residential? Should I do residential income? And then you may only want to be a leasing agent. You may want to specialize. But if you're all over the place, like throwing out grains of sand on the beach, it's difficult. Challenge yourself to think, why am I doing this? What experience do I want my clients to have? If you can think about that and then move forward to the end of the story, you'll always go back and put all the proper steps in place to make that a reality for your clients.
Right. And that's the point. That's the point. Like we talked about last week, remember? If you have a business or anything that you're doing, all of us are on here. Most of us have a business. And what did we talk about last week? If you can improve 2 areas of life, you'll always have a business. What are those? 2 areas. If you can improve 2 things for people, What you'll always have a business. What is that in life? What is it?
I wasn't here, but I'm gonna take a wild guess. Is it their money and their health?
Those are parts of the two things. Those are parts of the two things. This is what we're talking. So Cynthia is a reflection of everyone in the sense of sometimes we miss the point. Sometimes we're getting into all these other things that don't really matter the way we think they do because we're in all these groups and all these chats and all these challenges and all these other things. So what we start doing is mastering terms. We start mastering buzzwords. We start mastering hashtags. Go ahead.
Oh, Leslie put goals and needs.
Okay, goals and needs. Okay, but if you help support somebody's goals and needs, and like the other person was saying, if we do that, what does that lead to? What does that lead to in life? Right? So what's happening is that where all of us are in these chats and challenges, you have something? No. All these chats and challenges and all these things. I've noticed this. I've noticed it since I've gotten more into this public domain. I've always been an underground rapper, so to speak. I've always been doing this in the back. But what I've learned is what I'm watching is that people go to all these different groups and they get in all these different circles. And so each group and each circle has their own dogmas and have their own vocabulary, right? And so what happens is we go from group to group to group to group, to chat to chill and everything else, and challenge. So we start mastering all these buzzwords, all these things that sounds like we know what we're talking about. It sounds good. It sounds like this. But when we're asked the simplest of questions, we have the hardest time. We have the hardest time just literally answering a simple question. Because what's happening is we're mastering all these high-level terms and these high-level things, and we're literally living with a house with no foundation. So we're literally what is the house sitting on? Are we just sitting on the ground that's on top of us? Are we just sitting on the roof? Like there's no foundation. We're complicating it. Anytime you can add to the quality of someone's life and the quantity and the quality, if you can add length or improve it, you will always have a business. Always. Always. My mom had so many people at her, people lined up wanting to get in there. A lady called the Connections for Children, which is like a city agency, called them because my mom wouldn't let her in. That's how bad people wanted to be in there. I had her on here for a reason. I don't bring her out because she's my mom. I don't bring out, if you don't have nothing to say or you don't know what you're saying, I'm not asking you. So I brought her, I had her say that for a reason. If you can add to the quantity, the actual length of someone's life, if you can lengthen the line, you'll have a business. If you can improve, upgrade the line, you'll have business. If you can do both, you'll have the best business. So Cynthia, what I'm asking you, you're just a realtor, but you are a realtor. You are improving my life, the quantity and the quality of it through real estate. That's all you're doing. You're giving me information about a home like my mom could give information about a baby. You are making me feel better about where I'm moving in. Like somebody feels good when they drop their baby off at my mother's daycare. Right? My mom was making, I think it was like $40,000 a month back in the 80s. And there was no Black Lives Matter. There was no internet. She was doing it back then. We lived in a neighborhood where I got called at NIGGA, not even by the police, but by the neighborhood patrol. Pulled up right in front of me on my bike like I was Suge Knight, like I was some kind of Pablo Escobar, and pulled me over and asked for my name, asked for my address, everything. We lived in neighborhoods with $1 million homes back then. And my mom, this was before my dad came. This is when I was in middle school. Who's my stepdad, but I call him my dad, right? This was by herself. But she understood, that's why I had her say something for a minute. She understood how to make those parents be like, man, if I drop her off, if I go to her, it's all good. Cynthia, what I'm trying to tell you is if they come to you, it should be all good. I don't care if you're selling real estate. I don't care if you're like Kari selling muscles and supplements. I don't care if you're like this or that or this. I don't care if you're Justin. I don't care if you're Akil. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Everybody's coming to you for the same outcome. They're just using a different thing to get it. They may want to get in shape. They may want a place to live. They may want herbal supplements. They may want to know more about themselves. They may want to know how to brand their business better, but they're all coming to you for it to be all good. Not all perfect, but all good. No one's expecting you to have every answer about every answer about every answer about every answer. But my point is that what's happening is, and a lot of the information we're getting from people sounds good and they're buzzwords and they're catchwords and they're all those different things, but never underestimate simplicity. Never underestimate just when somebody asks you a question and you're like, what's the hey Cynthia, I'm okay, we're moving. So now we're on the tour of the house and I'm saying, hey, my kids are really coming from a good school here. Do you recommend public or private? What is the API score of this local school? Do you know? Right? Those are things that people want to know. Those are things, and when you can answer those questions, when you can just keep it simple, as far as that's all they want. They're not asking you 1,000 million complicated questions. They don't know enough information to ask you that. They just want to come to you and say, when I come to Cynthia, she knows exactly what it is. So you know the API score, you know if there's crime or not, you know how far it takes. Okay, the local public school I know is 10 minutes away. And the API, and it's pretty much known for being a good school. Or they got their issues. The house is good, but if I were you, I would probably take the house and look for the private school. But there's 2 private schools a mile on this side and 2 miles down that side. One's Catholic, one's private, right? This is how you do it. When people come to you, they want to feel like they're taken care of, because all they got is money. They don't have any knowledge. Most people, nobody, if you go to the doctor, I got to have a medical license and know what's wrong with me? Then what am I coming to you for? Right? If I come to a real estate agent, I got to know, what am I coming to you for? If I got to go to a daycare lady and I'm saying, hey, can you help me? And she's like, hell, I can't help you. I don't know what to do. What am I coming to you for? Right? If I'm coming to Kari and I want to get in better shape and I want to be this or that, if I'm saying, hey, what should I do? He's like, I don't know. What do you think? What am I coming to you for? Right? I want you, don't ever take your eye off the ball and realize what people are coming to you for. The outcome is always the same. They want to be taken care of. They want to be loved. They want to be respected. They want to feel like all I got is my money. And people work hard for the money, right? Hard for it, honey, right? They work for a whole situation. So this means everything to them. This represents their time, their effort, their energy away from their family, friends, probably half of them doing a job they don't like. So this is huge. So when they're giving you that, they want to feel like, if I give her this, she can make my dream come true. To live in a neighborhood where my kids can either go to school, or I know they can't, but we like the neighborhood and I'll put them in private school. But she's giving me that. She's making me feel as a parent that I'm making a good decision, with this house, that my kids can go to school or the neighborhood is safe. That's what they're coming to you for. They don't care about your team. I didn't call your team. I don't want to meet you. It's like me dating you. I don't care nothing about your family till I got to meet them. I don't care about your mama or your daddy when I meet you in the mall. I don't care about that. I care about you. I want to talk to you. Now, when I come to pick you up, I may meet your team, your family, right? But when I'm calling you, I don't care about your team. I'm saying, can you get me into this house, or what type of house should I look for? Hey, California homes are much different than where you are in Philadelphia. They're much different. Right? So I need to know, okay, if it snowed, I don't know nothing about snow, like all the things you can tell me to make me feel better about something I'm unfamiliar with. We get all these buzzwords and all these catchwords, and we go to all these challenges and all these chills and all this and that. And I'm realizing, like, the more I see it, I'm like, is anybody really talking about the point here? Because they're talking about a whole lot of shit up here. But if I ask somebody a question, nobody can answer.
They got you cursing.
They got me almost upset. It's, because I was holding on to the marker. See, I was usually it's the marker, but today it just came out of my mouth and said out of my hand, right? But I want us to understand that when somebody's coming to you, they just want help. They just want to know that they're in the best situation with the best information, and that when they ask you something, you either know or you find out. We ain't got to act like we know everything. Just find out. But when they come to you like, oh, okay, Mr. So-and-so, or what type of house? Okay, do you have kids? How many? Okay, all right, cool. All right, so you need this. Okay, well, what is your expected budget? What are you kind of thinking about? Okay, are you up for a duplex, or do you want income property? Just things, right? But if you can just keep it simple, you'll have everything. You'll have everybody. Right? So I want us to understand that the businesses we have don't have to be complicated. You don't have to have a whole bunch of complicated words and philosophies and ideologies and all. You don't have to have that. if you can lengthen the quantity of someone's life, if you can make someone live longer and or make them live better, then you win it. That's all people are asking you for, right? And they may be asking you through real estate. They may be asking you through a hair salon. They may be asking you through a personal trainer. They may be asking you through whatever else it is. All of us on here are doing different things, right? So, but they're asking you ultimately for the same thing, right? Over and over. So, Cynthia, I want you to keep it simple. Don't hyperventilate. Don't get all crazy. It's easy work. Easy work. You tell them what they need. It's almost like when somebody before, like when Justin had to approach you, he was approaching you and you decided, right, what he was asking you. And then you decided how you responded. It's like dating. You're saying, okay, what do you want? What do I want? What do you want? And it's a dance, but you're clear. You're clear on what your desired outcome is. You're clear, right? And so when I'm asking everyone questions, if you've noticed, everyone on here asks questions. Okay, describe your business like you described someone else. Boy, people start asking, looking crazy, eyes get crossed, this or that. Hey, what do you do for business? And people start explaining all this. People explain how to get to the moon and they can't even tell me what they do, right? If you ask me what I do, right, I'll say, look, okay, well, I help people live well by learning how to think, right? What I simply do with people is I look at everything. When I started training basketball, I went past trainers. Right? There's parents, they're yelling, they're clapping and everything like that. They don't really have much knowledge, but they're your kid. You're their kids, so they're out there clapping. Then there's trainers, they'll put you through some drills and they'll, show you how to do little things and whatever else. I went past that. I went to development. And what did that mean to me? It means I looked at every single thing you did. I looked at what time you got there when we had a session. I looked at whether when you got out of your mom's car, especially if I had kids, like they were kids, I would look at whether you said, when you closed the door, said, thanks, mom, or thanks, dad. I would look at what type of shoes you had on. I looked at how many pair of socks you had on. I looked at what you were wearing. I looked at whether you were ready to go right away or it took you 10 minutes. I looked at what time you got there. I looked at every single thing it took because it takes everything to be successful. Your 6 to 3 matters just like your 3 to 6. It takes everything to be successful, right? And I looked at everything a kid did. Then I started looking at everything an athlete did. And I'm like, go ahead.
Oh, Cynthia said she played hard to get. And I told her, me too.
Right? And the whole point is, right, is that when I'm talking to you, when I'm working with you, when I'm working with people, when I'm coaching people, or even a consultation when somebody says, hey, I got an idea to do this or that, I move kids out of schools. Hey, take them out over here, put them in here. I've been doing this a long time. And I'm saying all this to say that I look at everything it takes for you to, when you come to me with an idea, hey, I want to have my own business salon. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, if everybody says, well, do you have money? Do you have startup money? You need to find this or that. Okay, yeah, that's all good. I'm asking you, really? Okay, well, what do you know about here? Tell me about here. What do you like about it? How long have you been doing it? You've been doing it at home? Or why do you want to do hair? You'd be amazed at what people say. I don't know. I just think it's good money and my cousin do it. Yeah, but you're no good at it. You said you don't even like it. And you want to start something that you don't like before you start it. And then you wonder why it doesn't work. You'd be amazed at when you start asking people different questions. Because when success takes all of you, not a part of you. I'm looking at everything you do as it relates to get you from where you are to where you want to be. I look at everything you do, every single thing you do. If how much water you drink, when you go to sleep, when you wake up. I look at everything you do because it all matters. So when you are a real estate agent, when you have your own business, whatever else it is, how many things can you incorporate into your business as a lifestyle, meaning as a way of doing business that will address the needs of people that are coming to you? When you have a salon, do you have water for everybody to drink? What is the language that you allow in your salon? Because a certain language you can't bring kids, but then especially if they're mothers, they got their kids with them half the time. So now you got people in there talking about their Friday night, their Saturday night, and then somebody who doesn't want their kids to hear that can't come to your salon. Now you lost $200 on straightening somebody's wig out, all because you wanted to hear about Friday night. See, these are things that people don't talk about, they don't think about, but all this matters. All of it matters, right? When you're a real estate agent, how do you dress when you go to the store? How do you dress when you are riding up and down the street? What does your car look like? What does your clothes look like? What does your hair look like? right? When you are, all the different things that we are, we're all different, right? It doesn't matter what we do. It just matters how you do it. And we talk every week. It doesn't matter what we do. It only matters how you do it. But the whole point, that's why I keep talking about, the only thing I'm talking about every time is you. And everybody wants to look good. Nobody wants to look in the mirror. Everybody wants to master all these words, but don't even know what they're talking about. Because it's not you. It hasn't got to the point where it's sunk into you. I want it to get into you. So when I ask you, hey, I'm coming to town, I'd like to see some real estate and do this or that. Okay, cool. When you coming? Okay, what's your budget looking like? Are you looking for single family? Are you looking for this or that? I can mention these things because I'm not even a realtor. But the only reason I can do it is because I understand the point. I'm not making it up. I'm not talking about all that. I understand the point. You're coming to me to ask because you want some help. What type of help do you want? Justin came to you for something. You want to figure out what that is. Then you figure out whether that's good or not. All of us have businesses. We are businesses. So then what is someone coming to you for so that you can make them feel good about what they came to you for? Your bath and body, right? Jeremy with what he's doing, right? Akia with what she's doing. Kari with what he's doing. Justin with what he's doing. I want you to understand that you are picking something. You are picking something that reflects you. You are picking something that reflects you. So put you in it. But then are you prepared? Are you clear? Are you ready? Are you awake? Are you disciplined? Are you throwing Gatorade bottles in the trash? Or on the ground? Are you selfish, or are you like what are you? All those things come into your business. All those things shine through. It's not. Veronica bought for Father's Day, bought me some clippers. And so I was trying to, put them in this wireless thing and try to put them in. So I got two different ones. So I was trying to put it in to charge it. One went in perfect. The other one went in and it went in, but it didn't charge. So I was looking at it and I was like, first I'm like, oh my God, is it broken? It came broken? Well, right. So you start running off in your mind. I was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. Let me just slow down for a second. So I slowed down for a second. And then I looked at both of the little bases where the things were charging. This one was charging, this one wasn't. Then I realized, well, this base had a little plaque on the front that said the name. This one didn't. So I said, well, is it missing? Then I turned it around and the plaque was right there. So then I picked the charger, picked the clipper up, turned it around and put it in, and it worked. We're not crazy. We're not that far off. Everything isn't always that deep. Sometimes it's the little things. Sometimes it's the little things we forget. We're just off a little bit here, a little bit there, right? We're just off on the path a little bit here, a little bit there. We aren't all just a hot mess in a whole bunch of hot, just garbage running around. We're not all crazy or insane. It's just little things sometimes where we're a little bit off. But when something goes off, is a little bit off, sometimes we panic and then we just start, oh, I'm gonna wrap it up and I'm gonna send it back and I can't believe it came like this. And all you had to do was turn the base around and plug it up. That's all you had to do. There's a lot of us, we're not that far off. We're not crazy. We're not ridiculous. We're just a little bit off. And if we just take the time to slow down a little bit and say, okay, let me talk to myself a little bit different. Let me think about myself a little bit different. Like we've talked about in here, right? That's what those 20 minutes are about. They're to raise our level of awareness and to realize, hey man, it's not that we're crazy, but we're driving ourselves crazy. We are not originally crazy. Originally, we are perfect, but now we've got into a body that's got some wear and tear on it like a car. So it's not brand new like it was off the showroom floor, right? But it doesn't mean it has to be broken down and messed up either. But it will be if you don't take care of it. You can't buy a Rolls Royce and just put it on the lawn for 6 months and think that it's just going to remain showroom fresh. If you just do something and just living every day, life is alive. So it's going to beat on that car. And if you don't take active steps to keep the air in the tires, to keep the car washed, to keep it clean, just life is going to tear it down. Your windows will be busted. You have cobwebs. Your tires will start to get flat. Paint will start to oxidize. Because if you don't, you have to actively do something to keep your life going the way you want. You can't just sit there and put it on repeat or replay. So all through the week, when we get off this call, what are we doing actively to keep our car clean, to keep our mind clean, to keep our tires pumped up, to keep our windows washed. It doesn't do that on its own. It doesn't do that on its own, right? So we're not that far off. Cynthia, just keep it simple. They want to be, when you take your child, you and Justin's child somewhere to your aunt, to your sister's house, your brother's house, your aunt's house, you just want to know they're taken care of. You don't care how many slides they got in the house. You don't care if there's a bouncy house. You don't care what type of cable they have. You don't care about what you don't care about. You just want to know this is my child. And if I drop them off somewhere, I want to know that they're taken care of. Well, people are coming to you with their child, and most often that's their money. All of us got a business. People are coming to you with their child, and they want to feel the same way about their money as you feel about your children when you drop them off with someone. You don't want to hear, well, what happened to him? Well, what? Oh, girl, I don't know. I mean, I was just in another room on the phone. But I dropped them off to you. They don't want to hear that you weren't paying attention. They don't want to hear that you're late for an appointment just because you're late. They don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. So they don't want to hear that about their money or their experience any more than we want to hear what our children or anything else that we love. People love their money. They want to act like they don't, but they do. And that shit, I don't blame them. They work hard for it. They work hard. They spend the majority of their day, the majority of their week, the majority of their month, and the majority of the months of their year working. And also that it doesn't mean anything. It does mean something. So their money means something, just like your child means something, just like our children mean something. So people just want to feel comfortable. People want to feel safe. They want to feel like, if I bring this to you, it's all good. It's all, you'll take care of me. That's all they want to be, is taken care of, right? And all of our businesses, it doesn't matter what you do, people just want to be taken care of. They're coming to you to help them do something or be something they don't know how to do or be without you, or that they're entrusting the fact that you do. If I get with her, this is going to happen. If I get with him, this is going to happen. That's all they want. Don't complicate it. For all of us, don't complicate it, right? Focus on who you are. Focus on what you do. Build into your business all the things that makes people feel like when they come to you, that's it. All they got to do is cross the finish line. All they got to do is get you on the phone. All they got to do is cross the threshold of your door. All they got to do is get you to respond. If they can just get to you, they're saved. When people think that about you, people will be crawling to you. They'll be, by hook or crook, they will figure out a way to get to you. I want you guys to understand that. Don't complicate it. Don't think it's about a whole bunch of buzzwords and a whole bunch of this and that, because I've been seeing it and I'm just like, what are we doing here? Everybody's talking and nobody's talking about what are we doing, right? Last thing I'll say before questions real quick is this. Be prepared to talk. In the last couple of weeks, I've seen a whole bunch of things going on. I watch a whole bunch of things, and I can tell you that I have seen on more than one occasion people talking about what they knew, but not prepared to talk about what they knew. They weren't prepared. They weren't dressed correctly, hair looking funny, distracted, doing other things, distracted not only visibly, but physically. Like, they're not prepared to talk about what they know. Doesn't mean they didn't know it, but they weren't prepared. I would sit there and look and be like, wait a minute, why are you, what is happening here? Who is that? Right? You see, yeah, you see all kind of stuff happen. It's like, wait. We did schedule this call, right? You decided that you were going on live yourself, right? You made that up. Nobody put a gun in you. Nobody was. Is there a safe word? Is there somebody behind you? So you decided this. So why are you on here looking like that? Sounded like that? Why are you on here dressed like that? Why does your hair look like? Are you not groomed? Do you need notes? If you need them, get them. But where are they? And why do you keep getting up every 2 minutes? I see a lot of people who know what they're talking about, but they're not prepared to talk about it. Make sure you're prepared. Don't put your big fat face on this camera and you're not ready. Don't get on the phone talking to people you're not ready. Don't get on the email talking to people you're not ready. Don't get on the camera talking to people you're not ready. Just because you know what you do doesn't mean that you can be unprepared when you're talking about what you know. Because how you say it, when you say it, where you say it, what you look like, all of that matters. Be prepared, not just knowledgeable about your information. You can never know enough to look unprepared. You can never know enough to sound unprepared. Nobody wants to deal with that, right? So be prepared. to talk, not just talking. Be prepared. Right? I want everyone to understand that. Be prepared. I've seen that too many times. Be prepared. Right? All right. Before we get into questions, we open up at 6:30 every week so that people can come on and ask questions, fellowship, talk to each other, put links in the chat, talk about everybody's businesses. We do that from 6:30 to 7. I suggest more of you get here so you can do that. Talk to other people who are like-minded. So many of you who do so many different things. A lot of people you're looking for are standing right here in front of your face. So we all have lives. We all have things to do. That's cool. I'm just letting you know, right? From 6:30 to 7, that's why we're on here. So if you have questions you want to ask, if you want to ask other people or whatever else about things, or ask, do people do things? That's the time to do it. 6:30 to 7. That's why we open it up for all those different type of activity, right? Okay, couple questions or any questions. Anybody have anything they want to ask or say or anything like that?
Hey, look.
Somebody.
Go ahead.
I don't have a question, but I do want to give you your flowers. This is my second time being on the call with y'all, and this is a true safe space. It's okay to be imperfect, and then we have you helping us to just get back on track. A lot of what you speak about, I know. It's just hearing it over and over again. It's just about the people you have around you and things like that. It's feeding me. So I'm driving. I've been moving around all morning, and I'm just like, I moved from my computer to my phone to make sure I could keep up, because this is so valuable. So I'm just grateful to you and to everyone showing up today. Vero, thank you for the invitation. This was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming. And like Samuel Johnson said, people need to be reminded more often than they need to be taught. That's all we're doing, is reminding ourselves every week. Right. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All of them need to hear.
Anything anybody else want to?
Kari said he joined in late, but what he heard was great.
Man, good to see you, brother. Always. Good to see you.
Hey, look.
Yeah, I want to.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've talked about this before, but I would like you to touch on change and the choice to change. Because in order to change, you have to make a choice to change.
Yeah. I mean, that's something we're probably going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk about next week for sure. I think so. But everything is a choice to change or stay the same. Right. And that's what we have is free will. The free will is not physical, it's mental. It's deciding what we will or won't do. And then we say, let there be. The decision is always after the thought. So free will is not in decision, as far as it's not in the action, it's in the thought life, the thought process. So we have to choose our mind, change our mind. We are the only ones that's saying, let there be. So you're absolutely correct. Yes, sir. Anyone else have any questions or anything they wanted to say before I let you guys get out in the world and win?
I got something, Coach Lucky.
Yes, sir.
So coming back to the homework assignment about the song,
yes,
right? Just it's interesting that you gave that assignment, and a couple weeks ago, like, it was a thought, right? Because I always listen to piano music and stuff, and one day I was just like, I really want to learn the piano.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally just went and bought a piano, and I taught myself all the notes so far, so I can read music now with my right and left hand.
Ooh.
But it's interesting because, I've already been in that like mindset, right? Of like, singing a song to myself, right? But now, like, after you gave that assignment, it just got a little deeper. So I just want to say, like, I appreciate it and I'm grateful because music is kind of like a therapy that I'm like tapping into.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. That's why people used to have organs in a lot of the old churches, because it was actually music therapy. People just didn't realize it. When you were striking certain chords on the organ, it was actually striking the chords, the chords within you, right? And so that's why music is always, that's why if you look at especially a lot of old churches of all different parts around the world, that's why they always incorporated music. All the organs and pipes and all those things were tuned for certain frequencies that align with your body, health and restoration and things like that. Those are actually real things. That's why when I talk about praying over your food, and that's why I'm telling you that the people who were doing these things knew who they were. So they weren't asking for things. They were doing things because they knew who they were. So they were setting up resources to apply that knowledge. Right. So you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
Another great session too.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I always appreciate all of you guys being here. Anybody?
I want to
anyone
say
else?
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Coach Lucky, and to your mom, Miss Mona. Thank you so much. I took a lot of notes, and I'm just gonna apply all that stuff. And just thank you for this time, this impartation, all of this. I'm really grateful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's our pleasure. And Cynthia, I keep talking to you specifically because you have a lot to offer. You have a lot to offer. And if you just get comfortable being you, like you get comfortable being you, like you'll see, like people, a lot of people are like that. A lot of people will benefit from you being you, right? So, keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Leslie asked if you can
Thank you.
If you can repeat the assignment from last week.
So the assignment last week was basically you can get an instrumental or you can play the song itself, doesn't matter, but write a song about yourself or your life. Like when you're singing your favorite song, right? You put your favorite song because it's your favorite song. It's your favorite song because of the way it makes you feel, because of what it does to you, right? You don't play a song like, let me find what song I hate and let me play it as loud as I can. Right? No, right? We play the song that we like because it puts us in a certain mood. It keeps us in a certain mood, or it makes us have certain thoughts, certain feelings, certain memories, right? So find a song that you like that, and then write your life to that song so that those lyrics of that song can actually start being the lyrics of your life. Write the lyrics of your life so that you can feel as good about your life as you do this song. You over here dancing and singing to somebody else's song, somebody else's lyrics, and you don't like your own situation. So we're going to use the feeling of that song to write your own lyrics to your song meaning your life, right? And so that you can start dancing to your life like you do this song. So that when you think of your life, it'll make you feel as good as it does as this song does. It'll make you want to live your life like it makes you want to turn on that song, right? So that was last week's.
Jeremy said, thank you for another great session, Coach Lucky.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Always. Hey, man, I like them boots, too. Saw the picture. I like them boots, man. Out there stunting on them in Dallas. I like it. Yes, sir.
Yes, and Coach Lucky, I won't charge you for that.
God, we've heard enough of you. You already got a special keynote speaker thing that we don't. Okay, see. Oh. What is it, Mom? What do you want?
Hey, I got to get ready to go down and do some of my banking for one of my mini properties, so I ain't got time for
this. Okay. Got it. All right. Yes. Anything else before we close it up?
Hey, real quick, I'll jump in and
Yes,
just say thank you. This is Kari. I'm sorry, I'm running all over the place. We're doing a birthday party for my daughter today in Southern California.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, she's just turned 3. Actually, we're doing 2 parties. It's her birthday party and her cousin's birthday party. He's turning 1, so we're doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
But I was just running around, still went to the gym this morning, but I wanted to say thank you to Vero as well for sending me the text message. I didn't see it when I was in the gym, but I saw it as soon as I got out, and that's when I jumped on late. So thank you for what I heard today, Coach. You were on fire. That's everything I heard sounded good, man. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir. Always good to see you, man. You and the family. Happy birthday.
Right, for sure. I'll call you. I'm gonna call you before I leave out of here in California, man, so we can holler this week or this upcoming week. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Natasha, did you do your homework? I saw you here creeping on here. Oh, where? Wait. I always,
I know I get an F+. Yeah, I didn't do it. That was bigger than Vero's F. That felt perfect.
That's right. Because you know how like your parents were like, didn't you just hear what I told her? Why would you come right by, like in class? Didn't you tell me said so-and-so stop talking? And now you talking? So you get a big one because I failed her last week and you decided to come up and repeat it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It won't happen again.
Yeah, so no, it's all good. It's all good. Hey, so everyone, another great week. Appreciate you. Like I said, we get on at 6:30 in the morning, just in case you have any other questions or anything you want to ask, or that's 6:30 to 7. The call starts right at 7. So I want everyone to have, that's time for everybody to talk, whatever else it is. I have a 3-day brain camp thing starting June 20th. Is that what it is?
June 20th, the challenge of being you. It's a 3-day challenge. He doesn't want to call it.
No, I'm not
challenge,
calling it that because I've seen so many challenges and half of them are a challenge themselves.
but it's a
So I'm not
challenge.
doing that. I'm calling it a 3-day brain camp, and it's to work on your mind, specifically 3 days. Like I said, we talk about a lot of different things on here because there's so many different types of people, but we're going to literally talk about the challenge of being you, the opportunity to be you, right? So we're going to work on you for 3 days in a row. And so that's June 20th, 21st, 22nd. People have asked me about consultations or whatever else is. All that stuff is on the site. Coaching, some of you I've worked with already, some of you I've consulted with, some those are all on the mental.academy site. You can look on there and find out the information. But the whole point is that all this information is for you guys, all of it. Like, I am doing this for me. You're getting the benefit of it. I love doing what I'm doing, and you're getting the benefit of that. I want all this information is for you to take to live the life you want to live. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you like to do. Whatever is good for you, I want. And so we're just building up the you that's doing whatever it is you do. So you can be whatever you want to be, and know that you can be it and be it, right? We're not out here surviving. This is not Survivor Island. This is not no kind of contest. I want all of you to win, to know that you can, to know that you should, but that is on you. It is up to you. It's because of you, and it's through you. So let's make sure that we remember that. So I want us to have a great week. Handle yourselves, guard your mind, guide your mind, spend some time with yourself. If you've done the 20 minutes, bring it down to 15. If you're doing the 15, bring it down to 10, right? Justin and Cynthia, keep the interviews going, keep it simple, keep focusing, just keep it simple. What are they asking you for? What can you give them, right? Everybody in their business, what can you give people that they're asking you for? How can you make their life easier? How can you make it better? How can you make them want to come to you? Where they're like, man, I go to Walmart because it's convenient. It's right down the street from my house. I can get a $2 t-shirt, $1 bottle of water. I can get detergent. I can get socks. It's just easy. It's not as nice as Nordstrom. It's not as nice as Saks. But more than anything, it's comfortable. It's convenient. It's right there. What can you do so that people come to you? Because they're like, man, if I go to her or go to him, it's comfortable, it's convenient, it's safe. I know it's going to be right. That's what I want for all of you in your business, right? Keep it simple. All right. Have a great one. Have a great week, and we'll catch up next week.